crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John and it is early Memorial Day weekend here, so trying to get things a little organized. Early is 7 a.m. Have I been up since 5? Yes, but as you can see, I'm still scrambling to put things together. It has been a crazy few days just recovering from the quilt retreat and getting things going. And I'm looking for this remote that's back here. And let me see if we can make this. Yeah, that's not the picture you want. Lord have mercy. All right, so there we go. That's going to be the best it gets today. And we're going to hope the camera wants to work with us today. So welcome in. Happy Memorial Day, which just seems almost counterintuitive, right? To say, I know a lot of us celebrate and are happy, right? Because we get to be off for a holiday. But, you know, Memorial Day is a U.S. holiday, and it's really dedicated around honoring and remembering the men and women of the military who died while serving our country. It differs from Veterans Day, right, that we have in November, where Veterans Day is about honoring everyone who has served in the military and given so much just in their service. But Memorial Day is around honoring those that are no longer here because of their military service. So just seems a little different to say Happy Memorial Day, right? But you know, at the same time, it is a celebration of the U.S., our perseverance, endurance, all of those things, and the fact that we still come back and celebrate and think about those that have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. So, with that said, I want to jump into um, chat. Let's see who's here for the holiday quilting bee. It's been forever since we've been able to do one. Crazy that it's our first holiday, my first holiday since January. So you have all the fall holidays, right? We actually start in November with Veterans Day, then we go into Thanksgiving, then we go into Christmas, then we go into New Year's Eve, and then Martin Luther King a couple of weeks just past New Year's. And then the organization I work for, we don't have another holiday until today. And so, very interesting. So, I have to base my holiday quilting bees not on the federal holiday schedule, but on the days that I actually receive. And I know the government employees, federal employees, receive many more, and how nice for them. But unfortunately, I get what I get. So, and I'll take any that they give me. All right, let's jump in. We have quite a few folks here. Melissa was here. She's a channel member, and welcome in, and thanks for being here. She says, looking forward to the sew along. Janet's here. She's also a channel member. She says, I'm awake and waiting. That is awesome. Hey, Alex, good morning. Another channel member. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Oh, Janet says, I'm not sewing today. I'm having issues with my MS and can't get down to the sewing room by myself. My husband will attempt to get me there later today. I am sorry, but we appreciate that you joined in and that you'll be chatting with us and just watching along, right? You know, sometimes it's just a matter, I spend most of my day when I do work from home, I typically keep YouTube on in the background. And it's amazing what I pick up and what I learn between phone calls and work and that. But sometimes it's just fun just being in the space and not necessarily sewing. I'll tell you, actually, at our quilting retreat, I did show you a few things that I got done, but at the end of the day, I really focused on making it an experience for everyone else and found that I just didn't have the personal bandwidth to do a lot of projects and do get things done. Even though my partner's great, right? He does all the cooking, he did the cleaning, he did the dishes, he did all that kind of stuff for us to really give me an opportunity to be more in the room and be present. But still, it's hard to do both, and so it's all good. Who else? Joydy's here. Joydy Lita is here. Thanks, Joydy, for joining. Good morning to you. Balloonist is here from down in Tucson. Hey, good morning to you. And she's a channel member as well. Who else? Janet says, hopefully you were able to get some good rest last evening. I was. I will be honest. I ended up going to bed about 9, but I literally died. Um, I, um, I did not move the entire night. I don't even think I rolled over throughout the night and slept until 4:30, 5 o'clock, which is great for me, and actually slept throughout the night. So occasionally I do have to recharge those batteries. Um, Melissa goes, yeah, you kind of hit the ground running after the retreat. That's just who we are. Look, see, Balloonist says, yes, John is the Energizer Bunny, always on the go. I am. I am. I wish that wasn't the case. It's so funny this morning. I've already been up. I got caught up on emails this morning because I was so far behind on emails and responding to folks. So I got that done this morning. I had a couple of new registrations and questions and that I needed to knock out this morning. I got those done. I wanted to send a survey for the retreat. I got that done this morning. And then we're launching a new shop store that is almost ready to go. And so I'll be sharing that in the next week or so with everyone about some other projects that we've been working on. And it's literally taking us about 6 months to see those come to fruition. So we're really, really excited about that. Just another, what we consider the different venture, but it's just a way of expanding our focus and presence in the YouTube space in crafting. But again, yes, so yeah, I do. Folks at work go, I just don't understand how you just keep going and going. And I thought, well, my parents were the same way. My mother was just loaded with energy. And so was I guess just inherited. And again, ADHD, right? So I love, and I can't wait to share with you Ray's quilt, new quilt pattern. I need to send him an email. He's the one I did not get to this morning. I wanted to thank him, ask him if I'm able to share the quilt with you all online. I don't know when he's actually going to release that new pattern, but I really, really did like that pattern. It goes together so quick and it looks so complicated, but it's not. But I already sent my future daughter-in-law an email this morning saying, hey, would you like a quilt as a wedding present? And if so, what are two colors, two theme colors that you would like, and what size? Because I don't know what size bed they actually have. But I thought, okay, so this one, I think this would be a cool pattern to do for her. Then I already planned to do it for my grandson in a Christmas theme. So I had to order a bolt of fabric for that. It's just like crazy. Sorry, I just had a big bird fly into my picture window. So, but apparently it wasn't too bad. He kept going. So, what else? Let's keep going to the chat. Um, Good morning. Oh, Sweet Granny's here. Hey, Sweet Granny, thanks for being here. It means so much. Raven's here. Hey, Raven, welcome in. Jean's here. Good morning, Jean. Welcome. Lori's here. Good morning, Lori. Stitcher's here. Hey, Stitcher, welcome in. I did get some sleep. Definitely finally got caught up on some sleep. Um, Jacqueline's here. Hey, welcome. Thanks for being here. Joe's Savvy, designed by Sean, is here. So Sean's here. Good morning. Welcome in. Hey, Brian. Welcome. Thanks for being here today. Well, guys, I got behind really quick on chat. How crazy is that? Good morning, Kim. Hey, Kim. Welcome in. Scrap, Scrappy Crafter is here. Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here today. Alex goes, I'll be right back. I need coffee. I brought my coffee with me this morning, so we are set and ready to go. And we won't talk about how many cups John's already had. And sadly, you would think some of this energy comes from all the caffeine I drink. Literally, guys, I drink 1 cup of coffee like this that is regular. Then I switch to decaf the rest of the day. And granted, I do drink 6 or 8 of these a day or in the morning. I don't drink coffee after 9 a.m., interesting enough. But I only drink 1 cup, what I consider a cup, of regular, and then I switch to decaf. And then I do at 9:30 every morning, it's almost like clockwork, I do have a Mountain Dew Zero, and that's really my total caffeine intake for the day. I'm not a big caffeine hound necessarily, but yet it's funny. I went to a meeting at work, God, probably a year ago, and our admin, she said, "You drink coffee in the meeting, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "All they had was regular." She goes, "Yes, I know." She said, "You can't do that ever again," because apparently I was more hyper than normal, but I don't know. It is what it is. Um, Scrappy Crafter says, "What are we working on today? Let's get focused, right?" So we are working on Banner Day, which is going to be the tabletop table runner from Villa Rosa. That's the one that we chose to work on today. I have got everything cut. I ended up fudging a little bit on the sizing because I wanted everything to go through the AccuQuilt, which it did. I got everything cut last night, was so proud of myself, and then I found a stack of fabric that I didn't cut. So now I'm not sure what I'm missing, so I'll have to figure that out before we get started so I can run that through the cutter. And now I see what I'm missing. So I do need to cut just a little bit of fabric this morning while we're getting ready, but we will get there. Um, who else? John says, "Isn't that the second bird flying?" It is. It's so crazy. It happened at the retreat. It's funny you remember that. So it did happen Thursday. And now that house over there has huge picture windows all across the back as it looks out onto the pool and all that. So it makes better sense here. Here, I actually have a big covered front porch, and I'm talking about a pretty good sized covered porch and that for a bird to really get down in here to fly into this window. But yes, it's twice now. So I don't know if that's a good sign. I'm hoping that's a sign that they're trying to bring me money, right? Because my mother always told me if your palm itches, that means someone's trying to give you money. My palm itches occasionally, and no one's ever seems to trying to give me money. So not sure where that wives' tale came from, but it is what it is. Scrappy Crafter says, "What Juki is this?" So I am a Juki boy. I have been through everything. This is the DX4000 QVP. They actually just came out with the DX4500. I will not be upgrading. I've only had this one a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. It is my go-to machine. I love it. It is their electronic machine. It's got all the built-in stitches, I think 300, 500 stitches, does everything. I like that it has the floating foot, so if you're working on thicker fabrics and that, it automatically adjusts itself in that. I've been through everything else. I have a Viking Epic 2 that I use for embroidery only. Most folks know Hagrid, my newest, is the Burnett B79, but I bought it because it's the Harry Potter edition. I won't sew on it either. I like the throat space. I like everything about the Jukies. They're pretty simple machines, and I really like the way this machine programs in that. I was kind of hoping, because you know me, I have to have the newest and latest. I was hoping they would go to the DX5000, but apparently that's not going to happen for a while. But I'm a Juki guy at the end of the day. I also have the um, TL18QVP, and I have the 2000 and the 2010, which are just straight stitch machines, and they're mechanical machines versus electronic machines. And of course, they're just workhorses, and that's what I actually take to the quilting retreat. So I have a Juki 2000, and that's what I take to the retreats, just because they're just such workhorses. And at the retreats, I'm not going to work on decorative stitches. What I would like to start doing is on my bindings and that, I would like to try some of the decorative stitches down the binding and see what that looks like. And in fact, maybe we might do that on this table runner. All right, let's jump on. Oh, Scrappy says, "I love my 2010. Yep, I totally agree with you. It's an amazing machine. Um, Hey, Steve, welcome in. Thanks for being here with us. He is from San Marcos, California. So it's definitely, well, no, we're on same time right now. Yep, we're on California time right now. I get confused because we never changed time yet. We still have to keep up with all the different time changes. Scrappy says Anjuki only requires service once every 5 years. That's the truth. I mean, there's especially on the mechanical ones, right? There's just not that much to go wrong with them. That one is actually the Platinum Edition they came out with. I bought this one right before they came out with a Platinum Edition for this machine. I would have liked to have had the niche, but I didn't, and definitely wasn't going to just jump into having two of these. Although we do try to provide some machines available for folks that want to rent them at the retreat. So we had thought about kind of building up a few of these, but fortunately, the lady that runs the retreat center actually has a couple of, I think, baby locks that she rents. And so right now we don't have to expense jumping into trying to provide everything and be the answer to all good things. Scrappy says, what retreat do you go to? I just got back from Three Amigos retreat in Hamilton, Missouri. How awesome is that? I love watching them. Um, they are such a hoot. I know two of them. I know April and the other one I can't think. I don't can't remember names right now. It's too early in the morning. I absolutely love watching the one I love. She's always doing table runners and different things. April's always so sparkly, right? In her um, almost like fairy dust in that. She cracks me up. She actually got her Burnett B79 about a month before me, so I was very jealous. And I watched her unboxing. I can't think of the other one but I really watch and do some of her patterns. She pops up in the feed every so often, and unfortunately, every time she pops up in the feed, it's what I want to do. That I want to do. I think it's Dye that I must watch. I have to look. She says they are a hoot. So we actually do our own quilting retreats. We just got back from our quilting retreat here in the Phoenix area. We call it Phoenix Metro. It's Glendale, Arizona, but it's about, for us, it's 30 minutes from our house. And it's about 35 minutes from the airport if you fly in, but it's just outside of central Phoenix, which makes it nice. But we are doing our own retreats now. We've traveled around and done a few. I will say I definitely would like to, I'm more now versus attending some of the retreats, I'm more like getting into events, right? So we are going to Road to California in January is the plan. We hope to see our bestie Sally this time. Ended up we didn't get to go this year. We had planned to go, and I don't think she ended up really getting to spend some time there because she had something come up as well. So I'm hoping to see her and maybe meet a few subscribers and channel members that are there. But that is our plan to be at Road to California. I think we're going to drive up Thursday is the plan and be there all day Friday, Saturday, and leave Saturday afternoon and head back this way and stop somewhere probably part of the way. It's about, I think, a 6.5 hour drive for us, and I'm not, and I don't drive, so it'll be simple. My partner does all the driving on trips. I drive, but I don't like driving. It's just too crazy nowadays. So, anyways, I enjoy being going to those events. I would definitely like to get to Paducah. I just want to go to Hancock and just admire Hancock fabrics. I think it would be interesting. What I'm told is that they've got more pre-cuts now than they really do yardage, that they've really kind of shifted some of their focus and they're doing a lot more in the pre-cuts. I know from one of the videos that I watched from Quilt Week that that was the case. I mean, they had stacks and stacks and stacks of pre-cuts, and I'm honestly trying to get away from some of the pre-cuts, but we'll see. I would definitely like to go spend a few days in Paducah, get that experience, go through the museum and all of that. And either going out or coming back, I would like to stop at Missouri Star Quilt because, you know, I think at some point, if you're a quilter, we all want to go to Hamilton. And I don't know that I necessarily want to do a retreat with them, but I definitely would like to experience a day or two of going up and down shopping and enjoying just Hamilton area. And so that's on the plan. But you know, I want to go to H&H Market up in Chicago. They just had, because we are building our retail business slowly but surely, getting there and doing some of those things. I would definitely like to do that. But then I want to go to Houston Market as well. So we'll see. Just lots going on. So as I chat, before I can get to sewing, let me cut out the half square triangles that I needed for this, because apparently I was tired enough last night. I completely missed doing this, and now I may not even have enough fabric cut for what I'm going to need. So we'll figure it out today. I do have more fabric, and if I have to jump over to the cutting table, I can do that, but I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. But we'll see. There it is. All right. All right, so that camera's ready just in case. All right, so let me push this through while we're talking. So just so much to do, right? I mean, we are so fortunate that we have so many options as quilters in that. It's interesting to me. I'm very spoiled, right, where I live, because I have so many quilt shops and so many things local to me, which is just absolutely amazing. You know, we continue to grow, meeting friends in the industry and all that. I think that's cool. Ian is expanding out, right? They're doing the cruise this year. He's already got a Disney retreat planned. Would definitely like to end up being with Ian at some point. You know, there's Becca. I still have not got to meet Tiffany, and I would love to meet Tiffany because she only lives a few hours from us. I think she's about 3, maybe 4 hours. But I enjoy Tiffany, and I think with us being local, it would be fun to do something uh, Arizonian, right? Something that all of us can support and be part of, and that. And honestly, I just haven't reached out to Tiffany. I probably need to do that at some point. It's one of those things where it's just on the list, along with many other things John would like to accomplish. So we'll see. But the patterns and stuff that she comes up with, it almost feels like she just comes up with it on the fly, off the cuff, is just amazing. And it's to watch the overall YouTube space is just a lot of fun, right? Hey, Katie Crafts is here. Uh, Good morning, welcome in. She says, I love having a chauffeur. I do too. I am just, my dream would be, if we won the lottery, I would like to buy a small RV. I don't want one of those $200,000 RVs in that, but I think it would be really nice to have a nice size RV that, um, has some room in it and blah, 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 but enough that while he's driving and getting us to the next location, I could be in the back, and, like the sell is, right, I'd be making his lunch and getting things ready. But the reality is, John would probably be um, on the YouTube and doing other things than that as he's trekking us down the road. He actually enjoys driving. Just kind of looks forward to it. It's just we're just so opposite when it comes to that, and which is great, right? So we don't fight over who's driving and who's taking whose car and that kind of stuff. So when we go down south in July to look for property in that, it's no debate on who's driving and how we're getting there. All right, I think I have everything finally cut. Kind of disappointed. I can't believe I dropped this on the floor and just completely forgot to cut this last night. So I think I am ready to start assembling. So I am working on the Banner Day table runner. It is Villa Rosa. I do say Villa Rosa. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. A couple of people have emailed me funny in the last couple of weeks and said, you're saying that completely wrong. It's Villa Rosa, right? Because you don't pronounce the L's. I'm from Kentucky. If you put a letter there, we're going to pronounce it. So I have always said Villa Rosa. I have for the couple of years that I've talked about them. I will probably continue to, because I don't. Spanish Mexican is not something that I was familiar with. I'm growing more in my familiarity with it. But at the same time, I've heard more people say Villa than I have anything, and probably at some point need to reach out to them and just say, hey, how are we really supposed to pronounce the name of your group? But everybody always knows what I'm talking about, and that's the main thing, right? So Banner Day is what I'm working on. Obviously, I cannot share the measurements with you. It is not my pattern. It's $2 to download it on their website, villarosadesigns.com. This finishes out 15 inches by 63 inches. Mine's going to be a little bit different in sizing just because I changed the measurements up a little bit because I wanted it to run through my AccuQuilt. All right, let me catch up on chat. Brian says, be right back. Hi, Katie. H&H would be so much fun. Yeah, I just think it, yeah, and we do all kinds of crafting, right? I make wreaths for the door. I make wood wreaths for the door. I make evergreen wreaths, all of that. Do lots of floral arrangements. I've not done flowers for a while just because we've been just trying to get the house together. But typically, I change out floral arrangements in the house and in each room. Pretty much on a bi-monthly basis, so every other month, except in, yeah, it just depends, right? So I have all fall arrangements that come out. I have Halloween arrangements that come out. Then I have all the Christmas arrangements that come out. We switch everything up for Valentine's Day, which changes to St. Patrick's Day, which then changes to spring and Easter, which then gets into the patriotic season. So we consider patriotic season to be May, June, July. So I stick with about those 3 months are the longest that anything kind of stays the same in this house. And then in August, just because the way things work here, August we transition everything to kind of back to school. I start getting my fall colors out. I start getting apples and that type of stuff out. Uh, August, although it's still hot here, if I don't do it in August, I don't get much time in September with that stuff because by about the third week of September, I flip everything in this house to Halloween because I just love the Halloween colors in that. So by the third week of September, we're flipping the house for Halloween because it takes a week, 10 days to get all the Halloween up because I have Halloween trees that go up inside, outside the house. We change all the lighting outside to Halloween colors. And then, of course, we have all the decorations we have to get out inside the house. And then November 1st, all of that's got to be put away because it takes about 3 weeks for us to put all the Christmas out. Because we put 15 on average, 15 Christmas trees up throughout the house, and then a couple outside, along with a bunch of other outside decorations. I've got a 6-foot Grinch that stands on the front porch to greet people, so it's just kind of crazy. So it's just we'll see. Anyways, I don't even know where that came from. Oh, there's my friend Pat. Hey Pat, welcome in. Thanks for being here. We're working on patriotic today. Don't tell me, yes, I know this would make a beautiful um, quilt of valor. Every time I show Pat something, she goes, "Oh my gosh, that would make a quilt of valor." It's just funny how her mind works and how she clues into that. I so appreciate Pat, all the work she does with Quilts of Valor. Interesting enough, the Arizona chapter for Quilts of Valor is now renting the same retreat center that we are using. And so they just, I think they've done now 2 there. So they're doing 1 there per year. So interesting. We had our first retreat there last year. We had 2 this year. We've got 2 scheduled for 27. Right now we have 3 scheduled in 28. And we're hoping we'll probably stick with 3 and 28. And we would like by 29 to be up to 4 or 5 retreats. Our goal ultimately is to reach at least 6 because we would like to do a retreat basically every other month, but we'll see. Alex says, "Don't worry, John. I wound up with a migraine last night, and so she's just now cutting her fabric. All good. It all works the same, right? Who else? Oh, good. Pat says, I've always said it like you. Thank you, Miss Pat. Runs with quilts that has the. Oh, good. She says how the company pronounces it on their video. Awesome. And I should, and you would think I've watched enough. Interesting enough, I called their 800 number because I wanted to hear how they welcome, and instead it says, you've reached 888, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? You don't even have a personal greeting? So, because I purposely called after hours, hoping just to get the recording. I didn't even think about checking their Facebook page because I used to watch, and the reason is, I used to watch their Facebook page, so I probably have 15 kits sitting over there because their kits, I think, are a very good value. And when they put them on clearance, the price is amazing. I would struggle to buy the fabric wholesale and put the kits together. So they're almost selling some of those kits at cost. And so I've learned just to avoid their channel altogether because, again, I don't need any more kits. Guys, I probably have over 100 kits. It's actually almost embarrassing. That's why everybody keeps saying, when are you going to do a tour of the design studio? And I'm like, I'm almost a little embarrassed to do a tour because if you all see how much John has stacked everywhere, you all might send someone out to get me. I know Joydy's already wanting to get a truck to come out and get into my Tula. And Tula started in one pitiful little drawer, and now Tula's in 3 drawers. So, and soon to be, thanks to Pink Door, Tula may end up needing 4 drawers. It's just, I just love her fabric, but it's so cool because, I got some new Tula, old new Tula at the retreat this week because one of my besties brought me some of that. So how cool is that? Mm. Um, hey Ingrid, welcome in. Thanks for being on with us today. Stitcher says, just look it up. Villa comes from Italian, originally Latin, not Spanish. It is Spanish that pronounces the L's as Y's. Yes, thank you. Ingrid's, Deb's here. Hey, Deb, the Pug Mama Quilter, welcome in. Lori's here. Kim's here. Hey, Kim. She says, I'm cutting this morning too. I sewed a lot on my sister's wedding quilt yesterday, so here we are. There you go, girl. Kim was at our retreat. We got to meet her for the first time. She is an amazing person. We had such a good time. And I'm very anxious to share a couple of quilts that she worked on. She's an amazing quilter and did some beautiful, beautiful work. And her sister is getting married soon, so she's working on a wedding quilt as well. I'm cheating. I'm using the much simpler pattern than Kim is, but that's okay. It all comes out in the wash, right? As long as they all end up with a quilt. Who else? Ingrid says I have the same type of stash, lots and lots of kits and fabric and notions and books and lots more. Yeah, see, I plan on being poor when I retire, and I'm okay with that because I can tell you. At the stress level of my job, if I could just walk away from my pension and some stuff, I probably would. But that's just not reality. So I do need to stay a few more years to lock in the pension and that. But I'm not staying any longer than I have to. And guys, honestly, if I didn't buy another thing, I have enough to last me a lifetime. And that's one of the reasons we started doing some of the giveaways, which, by the way, is time for a giveaway. So let's jump over. Let me see if we're going to make Nightbot work today, because we never know what mood Nightbot's going to be in. All right, I don't need that one. Come on. I don't need that. Now hear the sound of freedom flying over us. We have Luke Air Force Base close to the house, close enough that we can hear the jets fly over uh, every so often, which I think is cool. My son's in the Air Force. He's not a pilot, but my son's in the Air Force. I like hearing the planes and that. I love going to Virginia Beach because Virginia Beach has a Navy base and right there in Norfolk and all that. But they always have the jets flying across the ocean and that. And I just think it's cool. Maybe I might be the only one, but I don't know. I've always found that to be kind of awesome. All right. Pat says it happened to me after therapy. therapist that the one person didn't know didn't need that much fabric. I put my foot down. I'm not reducing my stash. No, no, and sadly, like you all just saw, I did the unboxing video, or not, shopping video from Bill's Black Bag last weekend. I ended up spending $300 on patriotic fabric because I don't have any patriotic fabric. And I got some gorgeous fabrics. And so, but part of it was trying to build kind of a stash for that because I do enjoy being able to go to my stash and grab things, especially when a pattern or something kind of hits me. I like to just go do it, and I didn't have anything patriotic, so now I do. And but I enjoy using my stash and working from my stash. I say that, and I've got 80 bandanas sitting over there because I was hoping to work on a bandana bag. But has John gotten to the bandana bags yet? No. So we will get there at some point. All right, let me finish setting up our first drawing. Some of these things you've been familiar with. That just shows John bought too many of the same things, but that's okay. Um, all right, so the first giveaway today is the 12 pack. It just seemed appropriate, right, to do the 12 pack of the Quilt of Valor from Villa Rosa, right? And so it comes with 12 different patterns. So you get 12 patterns. All of these are approved and meet the sizing and that required by QOV for Quilts of Valor. I have done in here the Farmhouse Blue. I've done that a couple of times. I have done the Star Rail. No, I have not. I lied to you. I did Stars and Stripes. And then this quilt over here is Sparkles and Stripes, but it's actually not listed here or part of the QOV package. But I do think this one qualifies as a Quilt of Valor too. That said, so if you would like to be an opportunity to win this morning and receive all 12 patterns, jump over in the chat and put exclamation point QOV, Quilt of Valor, QOV, and that'll get you in the drawing, and we'll draw for our first prize in a few minutes. Understand if you need to be in the United States in order to win. If you're outside of the US, we'll give you a $10 Amazon card. And that's mainly because I just don't want to deal with international shipping on these items. It gets to be too much for us because it's a special trip to the post office and all of that. So I so appreciate my international friends. So please don't be offended by that because we definitely want you all to be part of the channel and what we do. Oh, what happened? Katie says, so your stash and collection of kits would make us feel right at home. See, I tell you what, it's just amazing because I have not been doing it this long to, I feel like to have as much as I do, but it is what it is, guys. I mean, it is my passion. It is what I like doing. I do enjoy the opportunity of sharing back with folks. So I do that as well. Um, so if you want to win the Quilt of Val or the set of patterns, type in exclamation point QOV. You will need to send me your address if you win, and I will get those out in the mail this week. So I use my iPad as my kind of teleprompter, and of course, all of a sudden my iPad's decided it wants to give me issues this morning. It's always something, isn't it? All right, so let's give it one more minute. We'll jump back in and do talk about that. Talk about do our first giveaway. All right, let me switch cameras. Maybe it might be better that you're all not seeing the side of me. There we go. All right, now let's jump back over here. Let's see what else we got going on. Jody goes, yay, giveaway time. Yes, I have several. I've tried to bring some different things in this time because I feel like sometimes I just bring the same repeats and that's just not fair to everyone. Pat says, I have stopped buying unless I need something to finish your project. Let me fix this real quick. See if I turn this off and turn it back on, if it might decide it wants to work again today. Um, she says, I watch What's Up and that's too dangerous, right? I understand. Edelweiss Quilting Embroider, hello from New Jersey. Welcome in. New Jersey's in the house. We appreciate you being here today. Hey, Joydy from Northern California, welcome in. Scrappy Crafter says she got back just in time. Look at you. Yes, I tell you what, I hope Nightbot can be our friend. Ingrid says, I have a wedding quilt to make for my daughter, but thankfully I have 2 years to get it done. She wants to finish high school before getting married. That is a good deal. How awesome is that? I said high school. I don't know why I added high school. She wants to finish school before getting married. Yes. Ada Weiss, I'm in New Jersey as well. Look at you all over the country. That is so awesome to see. All right, let's jump over to Nightbot. Let's give our first winner. And our first winner today is Miss Pat is our winner. She wins the Quilts of Valor. How appropriate for her, right? Because she really is such a big proponent, supporter of Quilts of Valor. So that is awesome. If Pat, if you send me your address, I will get that in the mail this week. Probably be this weekend, just because trying to get caught up on everything. But that is so exciting. So first giveaway of the morning. So thanks for being here. Hey Danielle, welcome in. Thanks for being here today. I wondered if I'd get to see you. I knew you probably had the day off, so that is awesome. Everybody says I'm working on bandana bags on my Juki TL18 today. I don't get to watch your channel a lot, but happy to catch you today. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you joining. Yeah, I've got like I think I've watched at least 5 different creators do bandana bags. They all do them so differently in that. I have 2 ideas on the way I want to do them. So I'm trying to take what I've seen and trying to make it my own on the way I like to do totes and that. I will tell you, my bandana bags are all going to be done with webbing because I just do not like doing handles. That may change later in life, but right now I just don't waste the time doing the handles. I think using the webbing just makes sense. And I have bought tons of it. And interesting enough, even with my wholesale accounts at different places, it's hard for me to beat some of the price. Excuse me, some of the pricing on Amazon. And I think the last time I bought some from Amazon, I think I bought 50-yard rolls, so I have tons of it to use. But you know, you go through it quicker because most of the handles I do are 24, 28. On some of the bigger bags can be 30 inches. So, because I do like to give a nice buffer down inside the bag to really reinforce the strength. Because my daughter told me today, or not today, but told me, she goes, I've got the one tote bag you made a couple of years ago where we broke the handle, so I was bringing it back so you could fix it. It's like, yeah, that's when Daddy didn't realize if you just put a scant, 1/4 inch stitch across the handles, that would, that's just not enough to make it hold. So I have been doing that. Yeah, everybody says I've been watching that a lot and doing it. Yeah, yeah. I think you have to. I mean, I appreciate all the creators that put time out there and putting things together and making the patterns and that. But if you watch what's going on with the bandana bags, it is just all over the place. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use bandanas as the lining or just use the bandanas as the exterior. Again, like I said, they're laying on the cutting table, and that's as far as I've gotten with them. Oh, Danielle has job interviews going. Ooh, look at that. Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. See, Stitcher says it's probably stronger too. I don't, it just seems, I don't, there's something about it. I like the look of it. I don't like the stiffness, I think, of the fabric handles as well. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just not, doesn't appeal to me. And so that's fine. All right, let me see if I can get the iPad working again so I can turn back around and then I can actually start stitching a little bit. Wouldn't it be fun to actually get to see me make the machine work? I really do sew, guys. I know you all begin to wonder, does this guy ever sew or is he just chap, chap, chap? But I do try to get some things done. I was so hoping to get some things done this weekend, but I just didn't get the level, get to it the level of I thought I would, but it is what it is. Look at that. Danielle says she's just waiting for the next round. So we wish you best of luck if that's what you want and that's what you're hoping to get. We hope, we only wish you the best, Miss Danielle. How exciting. See, I miss things because we have been all around lately and I've just not been able to be on everyone's channel like I would like to be, but we'll get there. All right, I am going to start working on this. I need to put some things together. So let's see if we can make this happen. All right, so I need sew the blocks together, arranging and flipping these as shown. So I need to do one, let me scoot, get things set up. Oh, and by the way, if you all had not realized it, today is May 25th, and that is exciting and awesome in itself because that means we are just 7 months until Christmas. How exciting is that? I can't wait for Christmas. I love the holidays. I love that time of year. I especially like that everybody all of a sudden decides they want to be nice and get along and not be as cranky and crazy as other times. And it's like, okay, you could be nice to people all year long. You don't have to wait for, December to actually act like you're a functioning human being. But apparently some people do, and that's fine too, I guess. It is what it is. But anyways, I just love that special time of year. I've always said if we won the lottery tomorrow, I'd love to build a retreat center set up the way I think they should be set up. And we would definitely have to have a store, right? Because then I could buy all the fabric and all that that I wanted, but then I could justify it by, well, I needed it for the store. And but I would love to have attached to the store a Christmas store. I think how cool would that be, right? All right, let's see if we're going to if Hercules wants to get along with me today. All right, first one done. So we actually seen thread and the needle move this morning. How exciting is that? All right. If you all have a special set of snips that you like, feel free to drop that in the chat. John has bought multiple snips, and none of them seem to really snip the thread the way I think they should. And so I'd be curious what you all are, what everyone else is using, because I've went through. I've got Fiskars, I've got these, which I thought I really liked, and these are Kai, I think, and I think I bought 4 pairs of those because I really liked the first pair. This pair doesn't seem to work as well. Um, so I'd just be curious if you all have a go-to pair. I think we all find our own supplies, right? We find the not only the snips that we like, but we also find the scissors that we like, this that we like. Yeah, I think we all come up with our own list of sewing supplies that we have to have, right? All right. That out of the way. John, on that tote pattern you sent me, did you say you updated it? If so, do I have the updated one? I have a lady going to get material ready. Yes, you have the latest and greatest pattern. I can resend it to you just to make sure, but I'm almost positive you've got the latest. And we actually made up tote bags, kits. to put on the Etsy store. And as such, I took a few to the retreat this week, and several people actually bought a couple. And one of the ladies did the tote at the retreat, and she said the pattern worked out just perfect. So, um, which made me feel good, right? Because I'd had a couple of people test it, but you know, being new to writing pattern instructions, what I did not get to do on that on those was go back and really put in the pictures and some of the diagrams and stuff that we would like to do. But I kind of also felt because it was simple enough that we didn't have to do that. But yes, to answer your question, thank you for checking on that though, Pat. Who else is here? Danielle says, thanks, Jordy and John. Yes, definitely want it very much. It's twice the salary I currently make. Look at that. More fabric, girlfriend. We will be floating in fabric then. And then Danielle and I will end up at a retreat sometime. We've talked about actually possibly doing a retreat more East Coast, Midwest, and maybe partnering together. So how cool would that be? So obviously we'd have to plan that a couple of years out. We'll see how it goes, but it would be fun to try to do one more East Coast where we could get folks, our channel members out there involved. And so that's on the discussion board. But again, for us that still work full time too, we got to work all those dates in. So, and then I would have to schedule in travel on top of it. So I'm not sure how and when that will happen, but we'll figure it out. What else? Good luck to you, Danielle. I'm rooting for you. Yes. Because adding that John wins the lottery. Tell you what, I buy tickets. I support Arizona education, but I do that with my discretionary money. And I don't play, like huge. I know folks that spend 50, $100 a week on the lottery, and it's like, yeah, I don't have that kind of discretionary money, but I do regularly buy a lottery ticket. And because, I figure someone's got to win at some point, right? Who else? Tracy says I use LDH snips. I will take a look and see what those look like. Because, like I said, I have been, I think it's one of those things where you finally find something that works. And I just don't feel like these work like I would like them to. Katie Grass goes, I bought a cheap set of snips on Amazon and I'm amazed. It's funny because one of the best pairs of scissors that I have, I bought at the Dollar Tree back when the Dollar Tree was a dollar. And I used those scissors forever, not for sewing, but for other crafts and that. And because they were so sharp, it was just, it's funny. You don't always have to spend a lot of money to get something well made or a good product. Um, Unfortunately, too many other times you have to. Fav has 4.5-inch snips. All right, I will take a look. And if I don't write it down now, guys, for me to go back in the chat and find things just takes me forever. Hey, good morning, Jackie. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Scrappy Crafter says, I love these. They're a 2-pack. Katie says, that's where I got mine. Not sure of the brand, but they came in a 3-pack. They are pretty good. Huh. I'll take a look. Brian, thank you. Yeah, Danielle said, be cool, and we could finally get to meet. Danielle and I've done Zoom enough together. I've been on her channel. She's been on my channel. We've been back and forth, but I never have gotten there. Um, Scrappy Crafter says they've got the Ginger scissors. Yeah, I've got a pair of those. Believe it or not, my favorite scissors that I got in a Christmas Advent box, and they're Moda. Um, Call it their name brand Moda on here, and I love the fact that it's got a little ruler on here. Uh, I like these. I like the size of these scissors. I like the Teflon or titanium, whatever it is. But I really love these scissors. I've got a couple of other pair. I tend to keep these over here with me. Actually, I don't keep them on the fabric table of all crazy things, but you know, it is how it works out. Oh, Katie goes, see, that's why, right? Because if you take them to so day, you leave them, you forget them, whatever, it's all good, right? Because it's not like you broke the bank buying them. But I so get that, right? Danielle says, I bought a snip and small scissor set off Amazon. They are Singer brand and love them. The grip is so comfy in the handle. Yeah, I'm telling you what, guys, I am finding that, you know, even though Singer's not Singer anymore, I'm finding that I like a lot of things Singer. I do need to get Barney over here working and playing with him a little bit. I definitely would like to get my featherweight out. I've never even had that poor thing out of the box, so it probably needs to be serviced and cleaned. But I would like to play with that sometime and get that going. But we'll see. Scrappy Crafter says, I have some snips I loved and the tips got a little dull. I tried to sharpen them and it ruined them. I don't know. It's a nice line. Has anyone tried to sharpen the snips? Yeah, see, I didn't even think about sharp. For me, it's the pinch point, right? It's like it doesn't have, these don't have, the first pair did. That's why I ended up buying like 4 of these. And these weren't cheap. These were like 7, $8 a piece, I think. And yeah, see, I don't care if they're good, right? If they're what I want, because I feel like they last me forever. Because I do really take care of my stuff, and I'm very militaristic about the way I handle things. You know, it's just interesting. And my partner, God love him, knows better than to touch my scissors. And in fact, he's really good. He'll say, "Are these scissors I can use?" So that just shows when someone cares about you, right? Um, Stitcher says YouTuber Lisa Capon uses glue when she does applique, just ordinary Elmer's glue stick. Yep, I do too. That's what I use. I do have 505, so depending on what I'm doing, when I do applique, I'll use 505 or I'll use glue sticks. It just depends. So as an example, these are what we gave away. I don't know if you can really see it. These are what I made and gave away at the quilt retreat to everyone that attended. I didn't get we did a different hanger for everyone, but this says this is my happy place. This is actually an applique from AccuQuilt. So you cut everything out on your AccuQuilt, but this design file I bought from Creative Appliques for a pretty reasonable price. And so we made everyone one of these along with the hanger. The hanger I was disappointed in because I thought I bought an 8-inch hanger. It turned out to be, I think, a 12-inch hanger, so it almost swallows this. But it was such a cute design with thread and needle and all that. I'll have to get one out and show you because I did buy one for myself that I do plan to hang here as well. But for that, because of the like the big sewing machine itself, I think used the Elmer's glue stick to temporarily hold it in place while it's stitched down. But then all the other pieces were so small, I don't like using the glue stick. I end up doing a quick shot of 505. So I think I think you learn kind of what the machine, what you like. I'm real funny about making sure I don't gum up my needles too. And so I really like to try to stay in the center and not have it spread out. Um, oh, Jackie says, I have Kai. I also have a couple of Singer snips. I need to look at the Singer snips. These are Kai. And like I said, I like the first pair. It could be just this pair. I was gifted a pair of Guggenheim by a roommate at the retreat, and I like them, but find them heavy. Yeah, and see, that's why I like these Modas. These Modas aren't heavy at all, and they just fit my hands because I don't have huge hands. So I think that makes a difference too. Oh, Mona's coming to take my featherweight away due to lack of attention. And the problem is, not only does she want to take my featherweight, she's probably going to take my, she probably wants some Tula to go with the featherweight. You know, we'd have to make it a whole collection, right? I do need to get it out. It's sad. When I bought the long arm, the lady that had the long arm for sale had the featherweight. And I told her, I said, well, I definitely want the featherweight. Don't know that I can afford or really justify the long arm because I had only been doing this about a year. I don't even know. it it was within the first 14, 15 months that I had been quilting that that this long arm came for sale, and she just gave me such a fantastic price on it. I really just couldn't. I'd been crazy to have walked away from it, and she was just downsizing so she could move into more like an assisted living home. And she's just a super sweet lady from Alabama, and but interesting enough, she told me, she goes, well, if you buy the long arm, I'll give you the featherweight. Uh, Pressure. So I did. It is what it is. Oh, look, Scrappy says the link I sent you is for the four. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, sometimes and even if I decide they're not exactly the ones I want, they'll be perfect, right, for me to take quilt retreats or to my quilt guild and all that when I get to go over there. It seems like forever since I've been over with my ladies here in the quilt guild. Jen says, nice hanger. Oh, that's so pretty, John. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Ingrid. You're always so supportive. I appreciate that. Havel makes good snips. Had a pair gifted to me years ago. All right, I'll take a look at those as well. Um, See, Alex goes, of course Mona would need a bundle of Tula to make sure that the featherweight runs. Oh, see, Balloona says, now you can keep the Tula. She's not a big Tula fan. That's not her forte. Stitcher says, I'm convinced Mod Podge is just Elmer's glue. I do find that, I think, a lot of times. Katie says, I sewed all day on my featherweight yesterday. Had to change the needle and have a pack of original needles. They are stronger than today's needles. Oh, so crazy. That's why I thought I really would like to get it out, play with it, get it running. I really wouldn't mind taking it to the beach. I know some folks have said you don't need to do that because you want to make sure you give all your grandkids the time. But I also know my grandkids, and I know my granddaughter would love to see it and sew on it. She's 8. My grandson is 6. He would definitely like to sew on it because he's into everything. But I also feel like they're a little young still. Definitely to use the even use the featherweight. We've looked at buying them more of a kid's sewing machine to play on. But the problem is my daughter doesn't sew. She understands it conceptually, but she really has never sewn either. And so to add her into the mix, she's like, yeah, you're going to get something started and then fly back to Arizona. Yeah, I am not sure. Look, Alex encouraged you, Mona. I'm sure he has some fabric somewhere there that you could find. No, no, don't encourage Mona. She can be bad, I tell you. Oh, Pat says, I love the new reef fabric, but why did she put a sea snake so I couldn't buy it? Oh, I did get, like you said, I've shown you all the charm quilt I did with the new reef, coral reef. It's sitting over in the pile along with many, many, many others that my partner is supposed to be long arming, but he keeps telling me you just forget to remind me to go do it. But I really don't feel like that's on me, but I'll take the brunt of that. We'll see. All right, I have the next giveaway. So let me write down what it is, because all right, let me switch back over to this camera. So this one. All right. So the next giveaway is a Bernatex charm pack. This one is called Documentaries, and it is patriotic, right? Because today we're doing red, white, and blue. And look at the all the different charms in there. So some really cool charms. So you get the full charm pack, which is 42 pieces. And let me jump over to Nightbot again and see if Nightbot's going to be good. Um, oh, there it is. All right. Let's go with... All right, we're just going to do exclamation point RWB, red, white, blue. RWB. You do need to put an exclamation point in front of it. And we will be giving away this charm pack. Winners in the US, if you win, you will need to send me your address so we are able to send that out. If you've won previously, I do not have your address. I don't keep addresses. I don't want to be responsible for them. I don't want to just don't want to deal with that. I do delete those once I ship things out. Just FYI. Who else is here? Oh, Katie says, Featherweight Shop has an excellent maintenance manual, step-by-step with pictures. I am hoping, actually, because my partner is very mechanical. I don't know. We actually have a guy, his wife belongs to our quilt club, uh, but he works on featherweights and that. I feel like just because I know it's set probably for 10 years since it's been ran, that it really just needs to be cleaned and put back together. I think once we would have it serviced and have him kind of do that, then I think my partner would actually keep up with it. He just doesn't want to get into real sewing machine maintenance. I don't think he minds the sewing machine maintenance, like once it's done, and then to keep it up and make sure that things are getting greased and oiled and that. I bought all of that for Barney because that's what Carl had suggested when he put that machine together for me and did all the work on it. It was so exciting watching Barney come to life. So I've got a lot of things from Featherweight Shop, and I'm sure some of that could be used on the true Featherweight. And I've only sewn on this once. I've actually just played on it. I've not done a full project on it because it is such a different feel and such a different sew because it has the slant needle. So it's not the straight up and down needle. This is when Singer went into the slant needle. So I haven't really played with it like I have the other ones. All right, so let's jump in and pick a winner for the red, white, and blue. And Nightbot says, Janet 330, congratulations. You are a winner today with us. And I think all of you are winners, by the way. But Janet, thank you. If you will send me an email to John, John, at GuysCraft2, we will get that in the mail for you this week. So congratulations. And thanks for being here today. And thanks for being on the channel with us. All right. Jump back over. It's amazing. We're at the top of the hour, so we're over an hour into playing today. How crazy is that? So let's talk a little bit about Memorial Day, right? Because that's what we're here for. So fun fact, Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day because people decorated soldiers' graves with flowers, wreaths, and flags. So it was originally called Decoration Day. So I think that is very interesting. If you, and I think that's why I feel so compelled, right, sometimes with the honor quilts and that. Like I said, our group does what we call honor quilts just because we don't want to follow the QOV rules and statutes or whatever you want to call them, and that's cool. I love that Pat is such a big QOV supporter and does so much with them. I think that's awesome. And so, all right, I've got enough. Let me iron and let's see if we can get this first block put together and take a look at it. Yeah, all right. Give my iron just a second to warm up, and then we will get this one's going. So if anyone has lost someone and thinking about them today, you can drop a note in the chat. I we appreciate their sacrifice and all that they did for us. It's just amazing. My dad lost his brother in World War II. His name was James Albert. He was a pilot for the Army, and so I never got to meet him, but I know, interesting enough, even in my 20s and 30s, so James Albert had been dead probably 30, 35 years, because he died, I think, 5 or 10 years before I was born. Um, like Dad just never got over. It was his favorite brother. He was the closest to him. He was just the guy, and it was just so crazy to think, you know, um, just to see my dad have that kind of soft spot to him, because my dad was definitely a man's man, right? He um, never showed much emotion and all that kind of stuff. He was definitely that generation. And to see him still be bothered by losing that brother always gave us a pause, I would say. All right, catch back up. Oh, Ingrid says she loves Barney and that Carl's going to make her one day as well. Yeah, I do. Barney is just awesome. It's Carl did such a nice job on it, so we are so happy um, with him. I just need to do some more. Hey, Janet, thanks for being here. Oh, look at Danielle. See, she's always on top of it. Thank you, Miss Danielle. Just love Danielle. She's so good to me. Scrappy Crafter, so what iron are you using? Lord, did you just open a whole box of worms? So here at the craft sewing station, I use Alessio. I love my Alessio craft iron. It gets super, super hot, which is what I like. Interesting enough, there are retreat centers in that won't let you use the Alessio because it gets so hot, I guess. I don't know. But this is my go-to iron. And of course, it's a Tula Pink. So I love that iron. I actually have the sister in full size, and I use that at my ironing station. And that is my, let's go say, no, you can't see it over there. But that is the one that I use for dry ironing. I've never put water. This one doesn't take water. No, this one won't take. Yeah, does it? I've never put water in my Alissos. I don't plan to. I use them because I like the dry ironing. I actually have a Laura Star that I use when I want to steam. And I like my Laura Star. Unlike other creators, I'm not in love with my Laura Star. I think it's a good iron, but I think for what you pay, I don't know that it's worth it, just in my opinion. Interesting enough, I don't like the iron. So at the quilt retreat, the center itself only has two irons. They have, she uses supplies the Panasonic cordless, which I like. I had one of those at the park home, but that's all she supplies. And for 12 folks, I don't think it's enough. So I take my ironing board, which everybody always asks what ironing board that is. So I need to write the manufacturer and say, look, you need to help a brother out. But I also take my Rowenta Pro Station, which was the original steam iron I bought. I wish I had stuck with that versus upgrading to the Laura Star, because again, for the price, I don't think it was a huge upgrade. And everyone at the retreat talks about how much they love that Rowenta, and that is like a $300 deal versus Laura Star. That's, I think, what, about $800. Um, I would never get rid of my Laura Star. It is a nice iron. It is a good iron. So I don't want to give the wrong impression, but economically, price wise, I don't think I benefited that much by jumping up. But I do like Aliso. And I know sometimes you all go, look, guy, I just ask a simple question and you spent 10 minutes talking about something. But again, guys, that's who I am. So sorry. All right. I really do want to get one block done today. See, I should be able to do giveaways, talk, and still be able to get some sewing done. We'll see. All right. One more. I'm really anxious to see how this comes together. I don't know that I'll use this necessarily as a table runner. I've actually thought it might be cute and just nice to use as a vertical wall hanging, right? Because sometimes you have just that much space that you need to do something with, and so that might be nice as well. All right, let's keep you on. I've turned you off. Jenny goes, it's official. I've sewn more than John did today and last night, and I just started off ironing. Happy lurking. Janet. Hey, Tasha, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Danielle says, my husband lost his uncle, Des, a year ago. He served in the 101st. So sorry for his loss. So appreciate his service. But, you know, we sometimes don't realize how that can have such an impact on families, right? Alex says, I want to say thank you for the quilting bees with everything that's going on with me. It's nice to just sit and chat with you all and watch. I appreciate that. Thanks so much, Alex. Pat says today is the only day a Quilt of Valor cannot be given. Quilt of Valor honors the living vet, and Memorial Day is used to. Oh, interesting. So we did talk about that first thing this morning, what the difference is between Veterans Day and Memorial. And right, Memorial is to honor those that paid the ultimate price, right, for their service. And so, but interesting, I did not know that about Quilts of Valor. So that is an interesting fact. Thank you. Alex says, on days like this, I really miss my dad. He served 38 years in the Navy and he's been gone 31. Wow, that's a long time. I understand, Alex. I totally feel that. I miss my dad more every day. It's interesting. The older I get, the more I miss my dad and just wish he was here. Scrappy says, thanks for saying that. I got a Laura Star, and since day one, it has never worked like the one I demonstrated on a QuiltCon. I'm sending it back. Yeah, I am. Yeah, guys, I am what I am. I think that's why probably some of the vendors go, yeah, we would never ask him to be, give him anything to represent, because you're going to get my full and honest opinion, and it is just what it is. And again, it's my opinion, right? I mean, there are plenty of creators out there that have Laura Stars, and they think they are the be all end all, and that's great. It's just not in my book. All right. All right, so I ended up cutting these wrong. I thought I might have. I should have cut a sample, but I didn't. But that's okay. We can figure out how to. We'll just have to do some trimming to make these work. That's okay too, right? You are so welcome, Scrappy Quilter. Says I appreciate the um, honesty. It's who I am. There's too many tools out there and too many supplies for us not to be honest with each other. And again, that's why I'm probably not sponsored by different ones, and that's okay too. I'm not in this to make money in that. So I'm not really happy with how this is coming together, but it is what it is today. What else? Brian goes, we love who you are, John. Chat away if you want. Thank you, Brian. That means a lot. It actually does more than you probably realize sometimes. Oh, Alex says that's what she's going to do with hers as well. Thanks. Everyone has a different opinion. Hey, Joyce, thanks for being here today. She says, I'm glad I found your channel. I am super glad you found my channel too. Thanks for being with us on the Holiday Quilting Bee. It's nice to be able to be off from work. See, I sewed that one on wrong. Of course I did, because did John check before he sewed it? No, John just went on chatting away, sewed it, and then looked to see if he sewed it correctly. Let me see if I can turn it and use it the other direction. Nope, still wrong. So, all right. So we'll get the seam ripper out today. That's fine. We can do that too. I will say I do love my sew on seam fix, which I think is our Clover. I do love this one because I like this bigger handle, but I think it's Danielle that's got a really cool one that I need to look at. Hers are handmade, I believe. Don't do that. I'll rip the whole thing apart. So I ended up cutting my squares wrong. So now I'm going to have to trim everything down to make the block work and fit, and that's okay. I can because I have a space right here to do that. So we will make that happen. So this is definitely going to turn out smaller than I wanted. I ended up, I grabbed the wrong size die, and that's okay. The problem is I've already cut all the pieces, so I don't have a choice but to fix it because I can't scrap all this. Make all of this fit together the way it should. All right. Pat says at the quilt show they had a great Euro steam iron. It is great. I will say the first one we got was defective. The company was great and right away replaced it. Oh, that's awesome. Jackie says my grandfather served in both World War I and II's back when they could draft at 16. I've lost several friends during the Vietnam conflict. That's awful. And we so appreciate their service. Danielle says, sorry for not being chatty. I'm getting my AccuQuilt cutter out to cut out pieces for the sew along I'm doing this week. Oh, how exciting is that? And if I'm still waiting to see, I don't remember seeing a gnome from Miss Danielle. I do believe she got the die, but I don't know that she ever got to really get the gnome done. So we'll see. We did have AccuQuilt at our retreat this week. Ray went through some of the different patterns in that. I showed you the bob that I did, which turned out really cool. But it was fun getting to really spin and get some ideas in that. Kim definitely has some experience with her AccuQuilt and that. So it was really fun to kind of just spend some time together sharing and talking about the different things that we can do with our AccuQuilts and bring that experience along for everyone. So we did do that this week. Past week, I guess, now. I'm so happy I only have to go in the office 2 days this week versus 3 because tomorrow, instead of going to the office, I'll work from home because I have a dentist appointment. So I'm not sure what's worse, having to go to the dentist or driving in Phoenix traffic, but is what it is. It's my 4-month checkup. I am fortunate because our company does give us, our dental plan allows 3 visits a year, but yeah, nobody ever just wants to go to the dentist. And I actually like my dentist and I really like my hygienist, but still don't like going to the dentist. And I love the fact that they stick their hands in my mouth and ask me a question. It's like, okay, you do realize you have both your hands in my mouth plus an instrument, and you think I'm going to be able to answer your question? Like, come on, what are you thinking? Okay, did I really just sew that one wrong? I just sat here and talked and did that wrong too? I did not. I did it right. If you just turn it back around the other way, John, it's right. How cool is that? All right, now I'll just have to trim these down and then we can assemble the first block. Where I thought potentially mine was going to turn out smaller, it's definitely going to turn out smaller now. So let me find my ruler. I will say at the end of the day, I have become a creative grids guy. So that is about the only ruler I do like. Let's put you over here. I'm hoping not to need you for a while. All right. Scrappy Crafter says I can say I could not endorse them on my channel as my personal experience has not been positive. Yep, I agree. Hey, Mama Jan, welcome in. Janet says, thank goodness for seam rippers, right? Amen. Melissa says, my uncle was a Marine, then a soldier. He was my dad's only brother and served in World War II. He died from a service-related illness 6 years ago. We so appreciate his service, and it's nice to be able to think about them on a day like this, right? And spend a little time just reflecting. Mama Jan says, I'm putting potato chip quilts together. Rows are sewn just a few long seams now. That's awesome. Alex says, woohoo, the fabric is cut. I understand. Like I said last night, I was so excited I finally got done, and then yet I wasn't done. Janet says, I love my AccuQuilt. I do too. I have way too many dies and have bought way more than I should have. And I stay on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, different places to look for them. Because everybody talks about how expensive they are and what a big price point they are to get into the market with. But honestly, guys, they really aren't. You can spend as much on AccuQuilt as you want, or you can spend as little as you want. And it's deciding, do you want the Go Me, which I have, what they used to call the baby cutter. Now they call it the Go Me. You can buy the manual. They have a new electric that's more portable, which I would like to get. Then I went on and jumped the electric originally. But you can watch Facebook Marketplace. You'd be surprised the folks that have them on there that give a really good price. I'm Interestingly, I'm more trusting on Facebook Marketplace than I am eBay, but I guess it's because I can go see it, right? And eBay, you don't get that chance, but you can also find clubs and guilds to join. So here out in North Phoenix, I think it's El Mirage that has a AccuQuilt Club that you can join. I think it's $50 a year. I think they meet twice a month, and they have some of the equipment. They have a lot of dies and all that that you can share. So you just plan, right? You find the patterns, you find what they have, you go and you can share and do things there. You watch different yard sales, watch again eBay and different places. There you can get in. At a decent price point if you choose to. The problem is, I think it's like fabric; it becomes very addictive, and all of a sudden you just want more and more. So it just gets out of hand quicker than you would like it to. Danielle says, been busy cutting too, anxious to start to sew now. Yes, that's not, the sewing. The sewing's supposed to be the fun part. I remember when I first went and took lessons. Poor Erica, I know I drove her nuts because I went to learn how to sew and use my machine, and all she kept saying was, okay, now we've done that. Let's go over and cut. Let's go over and iron. Let's go. So I was doing 30 seconds of sewing and mostly ironing or cutting fabric. I was like, girlfriend, I could do this at home. I had no idea how much ironing and was involved in making quilts and table runners and that. So yes, John cut the squares incorrect here. So now we got to figure out how to square these up, not lose too much, and then be able to put this block together. It is what it is. We'll make it work. It'll still be beautiful no matter what. Just going to be much smaller than John had originally intended, but that's okay too. All right, so let me jump over. So it is, let's see, I'm doing this and making a king size quilt as a pattern that I'm testing for a friend. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I never thought about what's up. That would be a good place to look as well, right? Jackie says, I love my AccuQuilt. I was going to get rid of it due to cutting space available. Then I discovered the Go small strip dies, right? And again, right, it's however you get in and get into that. Oh, Kim says, I'm going to look for that. I loved the plated block you shared and now want that die. I tell you what, like I said, it's very addictive. Maybe I'll start a club. Maybe that's what I need to do. We'll start a club and figure out where we can meet once a month. I'll be working on the king size quilt on my live later tonight. Oh, hey, Alex, how cool is that? You can try to put the link into your channel. I'm not sure that it'll let you, but feel free to do that. All right, let's jump over. What is the next giveaway? Again, trying to do some different things. So, let's do this. Which one is this? All right, so the next one is from 3 Yard Quilts. Let me switch around. Let me find what camera I'm on and find what go back here and find Nightbot. See if we can make Nightbot work. Giveaway, giveaway, giveaway. Come on, guys. Oh, I don't know how I got into. All right, so the next giveaway is Fabric Cafe, and it is a 5 Yard quilt. As you remember, what was it, about a year and a half ago? What is the date on here? October 25, they started releasing, I think, 5 Yard kits versus the 3 Yard. So I grabbed one of their books this morning, 8 new designs. It's called Step It Up with 5 Yard quilts. So it's not the typical 3 Yard quilt. It is a 5 Yard kit, or not kit, but a 5 Yard direction. And it does come with 8 patterns. And I think some of these are really, really cool. I have only done one of their 5 yards. We sell quite a few of their books actually on our Etsy store, but I've only done one of their 5 yards so far. I think they now have 3 books out for their 5 yards. And if you put exclamation point cafe, CAFE, that will get you entered into the drawing for Step It Up with 5 Yard quilts, exclamation point CAFE. And we will be giving away our 3rd prize of the morning. Again, if you win, you will need to send me your name and address, and you can send it to John, John, at guyscraft2, and we will get that in the mail to you this week. I say that, and somebody goes, you say that a lot. I say that because somebody won a while back and then sent me an email that they didn't want to send me their address. They didn't know that was a requirement to get the prize. And I just kind of scratched my head because I was like, then how did you expect to get the prize if I can't mail it to you? But okay, and again, I don't care, right? If you don't want to share your address, don't want to share your names. I mean, I try to be conscious, right? Because there are some folks that they have a screen name, they like their screen name, they want it that way. That's all good, right? You know, guys, I'm pretty flexible, but it was just funny. It was like, I'm not sure how to respond to that. So we just we just said, okay, thanks for playing. I didn't know what else to say. Um, Edelweiss says nice quilt book. Yes, it is. I do like Donna and Fran. I met them at QuiltCon when they were here in Phoenix a couple of years ago. Donna is so I know Mona makes fun of me and says I'm the Energizer Bunny. Donna was all over the place. It was interesting. Fran was doing running the cash register in that, and you got to meet Fran. You got to talk to her. I didn't even think about asking either one of them to sign a book. But they are just such nice ladies. You can definitely tell they're mother and daughter, and they just work so well together. They were absolutely in at QuiltCon exactly the way they are on air and on their YouTube. In fact, Donna had told me if we wanted to feature and do more things with 3 Yard quilts, that they would help support the channel and help do things in that, and that we just needed to reach out. That was so nice that she was willing to do that, and at least we talked a little bit about it. I didn't follow up probably as well as I should have. I do like 3-yard quilts. I do a lot. I do some 3-yard quilts. They're just not my go-to, and I didn't feel that it was fair to her to ask her to provide that type of, to kind of do that type of endorsement when I don't um, endorse their products probably like the way others do, maybe. I don't know. So again, to me, it's all about an integrity issue in that. Uh, would never take anything away from Donna and Fran. I love what they do. I think they've got some great patterns out there. I sometimes I get lost in some of their directions. I think are can be a little long at times, and I tend to sometimes put their quilts together based on pictures versus the way they're trying to tell me to put them together. But I absolutely love their patterns, and several other patterns I've been able to cut out with AccuQuilt as well. All right. Okay, Money's here. Hey, K Money, welcome in. Says no school today. Whoop, whoop. Yes, we like when we don't have school. How cool is that? I do miss teaching. I so wish I was teaching now and able to have my summers off because back then I still had plenty to do and keep me busy, but yet now today would be quite different. Scrappy Quilter says, congratulations, witness protection. All right, let's jump over. Choose a winner. So, 5-yard quilt book from Fabric Cafe. And the winner is... All right, Nightbot. Kim. Miss Kimberly, congratulations. How awesome is that? We just got to spend some time with her, and now she won a book. So, Kim, if you send me your address, we will get that out to you this week. How awesome is that? I am very excited for you. All right, let me jump out of this. You switch back. You switch back. It's over here. All right, now let me see if I can trim and cut up some of these blocks. I can't believe I cut this one block wrong, which now just makes everything off, right? So I don't have a choice but to trim these down or go cut more fabric, and I'm not going to cut more fabric, so we will just trim these down and make it work. One of the retreaters gave me the purple cutter. How awesome was that? She goes, I had no idea you were so into purple. I'm like, oh, of course, I'm a huge purple geek. And so she goes, I think I've got something in my stash for you. And she came back over and she goes, but you like this roller cutter? I was like, absolutely. So I do a lot of purple. Me and Donnie Osmond, even though Donnie Osmond's older than me, I just remember he was like the first male that I knew that confessed out loud that he liked purple. Of course, didn't hurt that Donnie was kind of cute back in the day. I've actually seen Donnie in Vegas twice, and he puts on an amazing show. He is truly the old showman. He did an amazing show. I saw one, the first time I saw him was with Marie. If you remember Donnie and Marie back in the 70s, it was really kind of a disappointment. Marie would come out and do her piece of the show and then disappear until it was time for her to do again. She's not the showman, her brother is, believe it or not. Or maybe she just wasn't feeling it that night. I don't know. But we went back to see Donnie a couple of years later. And again, just dynamic, just did an amazing job. So if you ever have the opportunity to go see his show, I would definitely recommend that. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh, Alex says, I keep going back and forth on whether or not to get an AccuQuilt because I have the scan and cut, but we'll probably get an AccuQuilt. I think it's whatever you get comfortable with. I have the Cricut. I like my Cricut. I tend not to use it. It's over there. I was thinking it was over here. I don't use it as much anymore, especially with fabrics and that. I can cut 6 layers with my AccuQuilt, where you can't do that with the Cricut. I've never played with a scan and cut, but I'm assuming it works a lot like the Cricut does. Yeah, I think it's just what you get comfortable with in that, and where you want to make the investment. It's just a matter of time. Oh, Pat goes, yes, a club would be great to meet online once a month, even to ask questions. You know what? Maybe we'll do that. I've got a new Zoom account. Part of that was to set up the Zoom and that so we could do for the members and do some member only Zooms and that. But again, I'm not trying to drive everything that direction. So we might start talking about maybe early fall doing like an AccuQuilt club online, and we could work on some projects together in that. But we might do it as a Zoom, do it more like Russ does with his shenanigans, because I think it's a lot of fun the way he does shenanigans. But then if we would do a monthly meet on Zoom and do it that way, so it's more private, right? So it's not necessarily going out on YouTube and that. But I wouldn't do it as a paid membership necessarily, but an opportunity for all of us to be able to share, show, and work back and forth. If you want to be on camera, great. And if you don't want to be, you don't have to be either. So Pat, I'll look at that. That's a great suggestion. I was thinking when I was talking to Kimberly about maybe doing one in Phoenix for us together, but we could do both, or we could Zoom the club meetings in Phoenix. So we'll see. Biggest part is trying to find people that want to be part of it, support it, and then finding the space for it. Right now, I don't have the space to host it here as far as having members in, and so we'd have to find a place to do that. Um, but there are places out there, and in fact, the library may even allow us some of that space. And so we'll see. We'll see what we can do. All right. Oh, I'm way behind, guys. Good morning, Regina. Welcome in. Stitcher goes, the winner was in witness protection. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny to me because, I tend to be pretty easygoing. I don't, takes a lot to rattle me. I've been in human resources for 30 plus years. And, it's what some of my friends sometimes they'll say, but you're so cynical. And I'm like, okay, you do realize I chose a profession where I have to judge how big a lie you're telling me because rarely does anyone tell me the truth. So it's a matter of how big a lie they're spinning to me. And so I just kind of shake my head at times. It just amazes me what people come up with. And it's like, a lot of times it doesn't matter how you come in and tell it because it's probably not going to change the outcome or the decision. But um, I try to be more easygoing. Now, compared to my partner, I'm the most hyper, out of the box, crazy, um, impatient guy you ever met. He has the patience of Job. He has lots of patience with me. He keeps thinking he's going to teach me patience. It's not happening, but I do appreciate his calmness and what he brings here. And interesting enough, he probably doesn't realize how much calmer and more patient I am than I was a few years ago before I met him. Yet I know at times he shakes his head and goes, what on earth did I get myself into? But it's okay. Let's see what else. Oh, Katie Crafts This Network has been glitching, doesn't it? No, I have YouTube lives to watch. Oh, how frustrating is that? I am fortunate, and fingers crossed, I'll jinx myself, but we actually have fiber optic out here. And so it's been so nice that, we've gotten away from DSL and all of that stuff and gotten off cable because we have Cox Cable who thinks they are just the cat's meow, especially the way they price it and the service they provide. So I was really glad not to support the cable network anymore. and we've got fiber optic, which fortunately I have never had a loss or gone down once with them since they installed it. But it's all new fiber optic too, right? It's I think we're on our second year with them. And it's a great price. And fortunately, we've had great connection or connectivity with them. That's the big concern when we move out and get a little bit more rural, is the fact that I need a certain upload speed and all that to be able to continue to do our lives. But I just want to definitely get out of the Phoenix area and get somewhere a little bit more remote and relaxed where I can run down to the Walmart in 10 or 15 minutes and actually park and be able to get in and maybe enjoy shopping again. I used to enjoy going to the groceries and going to get things in that. I think COVID changed a lot of that. I think the fact that I live in a major US city, Phoenix, depending on who you talk to, is either the fastest growing city in the US or the second fastest growing city in the US. I think at one point the statistics here a couple of years ago were 300 new people a day moved to Phoenix. I mean, just think about that. 300 people a day are coming to Phoenix. And so it's just crazy. But Pacos always sign my books by their signature inside the front cover. One can dream to know them. Yeah, I need to. I should have asked Donna. She didn't offer. I don't know. I'm sure she would have had I asked. It's just something. I'll be honest. I was a little overwhelmed with QuiltCon. It was just so much. It's the first time we've been to a show like that, and that I've been told compared to Houston and others, it's nothing. But we'll see. I didn't even get to meet hardly any content creators. The only one I got to meet was Adam Sows. And Adam is as adorable in person as he is online. He's such a little guy. Because I remember he was talking about, I think he has to make a small sweatshirt now when he makes them. Because apparently he used to make extra small. And I'm like, oh, I feel for you. You've gotten all the way to a small. But he's just such a nice guy. And he had his husband with him. So it was just fun to meet them. Good. Jody says, yes, I get what you're saying, but a lot of your subscribers love Fabric Cafe quilts. I do too. Don't take it wrong. I do like their quilts. I think they do some beautiful patterns. They're just, as you know, they're just not my go-to compared to um, Villa Rosa, but I do like them, and maybe I'll reach out to Donna at some point and talk a little bit more with her. But I thought it was so super sweet and nice because we had our shirts on, right? That's what kind of started that whole conversation, and this woman's busy. She's got, 500 people in the booth and that, but she she was the most personable of all the folks that I got to meet there. Chris from Rose City Originals was at QuiltCon. We kind of got to say hi, but almost kind of like shuffled through. I would have liked to spend a little bit more time with Chris, and maybe we can the next time he's out here for QuiltCon, because I think he's a super nice guy, especially being based in Oregon. I think it's Oregon where his store and that is. And again, I was still pretty new to all that quilting community, so still trying to figure out a lot of things. Not that I've got it figured out now, but we're not even gonna go there. Kim goes, thank you for the book. I love them. You are so good. Alex says she loves purple too. I saw Donnie and Marie, my hubby, though. It was going to be terrible, and he loved it. Yeah, it's like I said, Donnie puts on a show. I mean, it was interesting. We were in the Flamingo in the hotel in one of their, rooms, and it had, a slanted theater style seating, but you sat at tables and that, and you were set in the booths that looked like the old 1960 movies, where they push the table in and that. Donnie actually came out and jumped on the back of the booths and that and walked around singing and that. I mean, he knows how to work a crowd. It was just so interesting. Pat says AccuQuilt is awesome for multi-pieces. I just bought the scanning cut to cut out detailed pieces for like patchabilities. Yep. And that's what I still use my Cricut from, because people go, well, I can't believe you, if you have that, why do you have that? And I'm like, well, number one, I like to cut out, um, stencils because I do floor mats and I do outside mats. And so to spray paint and do what needs to be done on those, I need the bigger stencils. Cricut will cut those for me. It cuts them inexpensively, so I have to worry about wasting them or trying to preserve them. So the Cricut's great for that. The Cricut's great if I have a one-off applique design that I want to work on, then I can make the Cricut cut it and I don't have to fussy cut and full width. I don't like cutting on the embroidery machine and trying to go through all that. And so I think that's why I tend to jump over to AccuQuilt because it's just quicker. But I do like my Cricut for that. If I was buying one today, I would probably buy the Brother Scan and Cut versus the Cricut. But, you know, I've got the Cricut. Jerry says, great that you would include subscriber. Absolutely. Again, guys, I started the memberships because some folks had asked me about it and that, not for any other reason in that. It is great to get a little financial support for the channel, but again, that's not what my channel is about. It's not how I want to reflect myself and who I am. So we will do some things, but it's not going to be crazy ever, believe me. All right, now I'm in a bigger issue because what I didn't realize is this isn't going to line up this way because my center squares are too small. So I am going to end up having to recut fabric if I really want to make this pattern work. And so we will have to get that figured out at some point. So the problem is I cut two different size squares. And so now, even though I trim down one direction, it's not going to work the other direction. And so that's not going to intersect and come together like it should. And that's fine. That's what I get for being tired when I cut last night. So we will figure that out. So I'm not going to be able to do a sew along today with this unless I pull out more fabric and start on that. And that's just not going to happen today. So instead, I am going to work on Pat's Quilt of Valor and see if I can get at least my rows put together for that. So I would be interested if you all are doing Banner Day. And again, I think it's a great pattern. I just tried to cut mine using the AccuQuilt and I misjudged my cutting, and that's fine. I'll end up using these pieces for something else. But if you are doing it, I would love for you all to feel free to post your work in either the YouTube page or on my Facebook page of guyscraft2.com, or not guyscraft2.com, but Facebook guyscraft2, because I would love to see what your all's turn out and look like. And eventually I'll get one done and get that posted as well. So let's see. Oh, Mona said they both signed her book. Well, of course they signed Mona's book. See, you're just killing me. Oh, look, I already got the first one done. Look at this. Look how cute this is going to turn out. So I'll work on this today. So we'll still stay patriotic today. I just won't be getting the project done that I thought I was going to get done. And that's okay too. All right, let's push that over now. I need to think about where's that pattern, because I want to make sure I sew this one together correctly. It's not there. It's not there. I had it this morning because I thought if that table runner comes together as quick as you think it might, you're going to need something else to work on. Oh, here it is. I knew I had it. So Tibet is this pattern, just so you know. And it's one, and like I said, when it comes to Pat, she has such a good eye for these patriotics and that. And when I showed the Tibet pattern, she goes, you know, that um, would make a perfect QOV. And I did not, but she did. And so that's how I ended up doing this one. All right, so I want to make sure that I'm putting this together correctly, because Pat's going to judge my work when I send it. So I want to make sure that I have something she can be proud of for asking me to participate. Now, where's those? It's been laying here for 2 weeks. So, of course, now that I want to work on it, I can't find the, oh, here they are. No? Oh, there they are. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just feel like I'm all over the place today for some reason. All right, so this one went this way, which means that one went that way, right? So this one, if it's that way, that one goes this way. So we go with this. All right. Scrappy Crafter said, what cameras do you use? I use Near, N-E-A-R Stream. So I'm an Apple person, number one, so I use all Apple. Number two, I use Ecamm. Sean, actually, the guy who sews, got me started with StreamYard when I first started my channel. I used StreamYard for a while, but it did not give me the versatility and all the things that I wanted. So I got frustrated with that, and StreamYard became very expensive. If you wanted to do more, you either had to go out and add on a second software that was free, but again, another piece to fool with versus having everything like in a one-stop shop. And if you wanted that, StreamYard got purchased, and when they did, they just priced for everyday nonprofit, basically, creators. They kind of price themselves out of the market, in my opinion. So I ended up switching to Ecamm, which is a Apple product, not an Apple product, but it's only made for Apple users. And when we started researching cameras, we ended up going with Nearstream is the cameras that we like. So we actually have 5 cameras. So I have this one here that shows you close-up work that I'm doing here. I have this one. This one is actually, when we face this way, it's actually my laptop camera. And then I have 3 others posted around the studio. And my partner, for some reason, cannot get the last one to work. He's done a couple of different things, but that's the one that goes in my embroidery area. But again, it's Near, N-E-A-R Stream. They were really helpful when we reached out with questions and that. I don't think we ever talked to them. I think we just emailed back and forth, but they were really helpful, and they, I think, had a great value for what we were looking for. All right, so if that one goes this way, this one goes this way. How crazy is that? I would have never guessed it turned back that way. But it does. Okay. So, have you ever made a color wash quilt? I have not, because I don't know what that is. So if you can lightly explain in the chat what that is. I don't mean to make you type 1,000 words, but if you can tell me in the chat what it is, I would love to know, and would definitely look it up and ask Kit after the live today to show me some examples. So if you don't know, Kit is is the name of my AI. So I actually use 3 different AI tools now, but ChatGPT is one of them, and we call ChatGPT Kit. So we affectionately named him Kit and actually created an avatar and everything for Kit. So it looks like I'm talking to more of a human when I'm reaching out and asking him to put things together for me. Brian says that it's looking good. Pat says, no judging, just gratefulness. Oh, of course she wouldn't judge. Pat's been so super to us. We so appreciate her being part of the channel, but we so appreciate that she actually asked to include us. So how nice that someone asked for us and helped us, right? I mean, she provided the fabric and all that for this, so even better. So definitely enjoy supporting our men and women in uniform. Of course, you can't be a guy in uniform, right? Brian says, whenever I organize my craft room, I can't find anything, but when it's a mess, I can find. Yeah, and it's so funny because now that I've moved into this studio, it's so funny because I do have a lot more space, but I don't have as flat space, right? I only have like 2 flat surfaces. They're always loaded with stuff, which drives me nuts. But I'm finding that I'm tending to pile more, and I've never done that. I'm not one of those people. I require a lot more structure. And so it's interesting to see me starting to pile stuff up more because it's just not, it goes totally against my nature. And it's like, why am I doing that? It's just so crazy. All right, it's 9 o'clock, guys. It's time. We're in the last hour. How on earth did we get to the last hour? All right, let me jump over. Let me see what we want to give away at 9 o'clock is another charm pack. Let me switch cameras. All right, let's roll this over here because I don't want this all wrinkled up. This over here, that there. Let's switch cameras so y'all don't have to see the back of my head because apparently I'm getting a bald spot and I better not be because I would definitely, I'm vain enough, I would have to pay for implants. My grandfather was bald. That was the biggest fear of my life that I would end up bald at some point. I don't know why. I guess it's because I'm an 80s child, right? I still need my hairspray. So funny. And you definitely do not want to walk in the room when I'm spraying and lacquering this stuff down because I can live through a hailstorm. I can put most women to shame. My hair does not move, yet it feels very soft to the touch. All right, let's go in. We are giving away, oh, as soon as the keyboard wakes up, what are we giving away, John? We are giving away a charm pack from Riley Blake Designs called SEW America by J. Wecker Frisch. And yep, there it goes. All right, let me do this real quick. Get this in, and then I will show you. So this is a charm pack. This is a new charm pack that was released this year. It is by Riley Blake. It is called Sew America. And let me show you all the different fabrics that are on there. It's actually kind of goes along with the paper dolls, almost like with the cutouts and that. So a nice variety and some pretty cute stuff. So you get the full charm pack, and it is 42 charms. Yes, 42 pieces, 5-inch stacker is what they call it. And if you go into the chat and put exclamation point sew, SEW, that will get you entered. And you will just need, if you win, send me your name and address, and we will get that in the mail to you this week. So SEW will get you entered. Make sure you put the exclamation point and do not put any spaces. It all goes together. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Jenny goes, Brian's witchcraft room. I love that. I mean, if it doesn't tell you everything you need to know about Brian and his personality, just naming that witchcraft. I mean, I don't know. I just first time I saw that, I just fell in love with that. That was just so amazing. Scrappy Crafter says, "Oh bummer, we're not compatible, but all good information." The Nearstream, I think, does work on both. I don't think you have to use an Apple to do it. It just so happened to be it was one of the products recommended by Ecamm, but I think Nearstream does work on either platforms. Pat goes, "Oh, Brian, isn't that true? My daughter came and cleaned up my quilt room when I was in the hospital. I haven't been able to get up the steep stairs. That might be good for now. I will not find anything." Yeah, I cannot imagine if my partner, I don't like even when he comes in, and we affectionately refer to my partner as my CEO, right? So when we go shopping, when we do our trips and all that, he's the CEO, right, of our business, of our venture. So he carries everything out. right? So he's the CEO. And it's funny because like he'll bring all that stuff in after we get back from whatever and sit it on the cutting table. And it's like, that just tests my patience, right? It's like, because, he probably should have set it on the other side of the cutting table. And I don't say a word, right? I appreciate him and all that he does for me. But it's just funny, like, I don't want anyone in the sewing room, no one in the studio. Yet we do share space, right? Because he does do the long arming and he typically runs my 10 needle. Oh, and I just bought the coolest Disney patterns from Winnie the Pooh from EMB Library. I forgot who I bought it from. Anyways, I just bought a new Winnie the Pooh patterns that we're stitching and going to make a quilt blocks out of, but we're running it on the 10 needle because almost every one of those, they're either outlined and they're all black, or they've got all the colors in them, but most of them are up to 10 colors. And so we can just run them on the 10 needle and not have to change things out. So that makes it so much easier. All right. Says a color wash quilt, a YouTube video made by Terry Rowland shows you how to make it. It's a quilt with 3.5-inch squares and takes about 500. Oh, interesting. I'll take a look because I have a lot of charm packs in different things, but I do 3.5-inch squares. Oh, that would be perfect because these are 3.5-inch, I think. All right. No, I'll definitely take a look. Man, that's a lot of squares though, isn't it? Wow. Tracy says it goes by too fast because we're having fun. Guys, I appreciate that. That means a lot that you say that. Um, Edelweiss says, one, that is a beautiful charm pack. They are pretty today. Thank you. I tried to find some patriotic stuff. I did grab one thing, um, again, that I'm trying to exhaust my stash with. But it happens. Stacks happen during a creative frenzy. Amen. Hey, Laura, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Always good to see you. Everybody says, what 10 needle do you have? It's on my wish list. I'm tired of having one needle machine. I so get that. All right, let me give this away and then we'll talk about my 10 needle. All right, choose a winner. Awesome, Steve, Norma Kaufman, you won. So Steve, congratulations. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for joining the Holiday Quilting Bee. And if you will send me your name and address at John, John, Guys Craft 2, we will get that out in the mail to you this week. And so we so appreciate you being with us today. All right, so 10 needle. I ended up going with the Viking Husqvarna 10 needle. It's the MN1000. It's the first and only multi-needle that Viking ever made. My buddies over at 35th did give me a pretty good deal on it. Would I recommend it? No, they don't make it anymore for a lot of reasons. Partly because it is very complicated to program, and they some people go, well, they programmed it like a professional machine. I hate to tell you, I ran a commercial embroidery business for 5 years. I had Toyota machines, I had Brother machine, and I had SWF machines. This machine's nothing like any of it. I should have paid more attention to what I was getting and getting myself into. I would absolutely never recommend that model. What I would recommend is I have the Brother multi-needle, is actually how we got started in the embroidery business. It's the second year that Brother came out with the PR 600. That was their first entry into the multi-needles for a home. It was easily portable. You really had to use two people, but You could pick it up and move it if you wanted to take it to craft shows and that, which we did. It was 6 needles. My ex-wife has that machine. She still runs that machine. When we opened up a retail business, we had 3 sites. Well, we had 2 retail stores and a small like factory site where we had a multi-head machine in that. We still ran that machine. That machine ran 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and in the fall and winter could run 7 days a week. It probably has 5 million, 10 million stitches on it, and it's still going strong, and it's only been serviced once or twice. It was just a workhorse. I hope Brother has kept that level of quality up. I don't have any idea. I didn't go back to Brother just because to get away from the 6 and that more needles, you had to go to the true industrial machine. I didn't really want to jump all the way into industrial, but my experience and all that, I wish I had. The reason my partner runs the Husqvarna for us is because I get frustrated and I don't like the way you have to change hoop sizes. I don't like they did not do anything to make it easy for a home user. So they definitely would not be my answer. I would also absolutely never pay the price Bernina wants for theirs. Bernina decided they wanted to get into the market, and what I've seen and played with on their machine is not anything I would do either. There is one machine that I would definitely buy tomorrow if I had the money, and it's a Happy, Happy machine, and they are a true commercial machine, but they do make more of a home version, and I would definitely like to get a 15 needle versus the thin needle, but right now I just don't have the money to do that, and it just doesn't make sense. We don't run this one enough like we should. Some of these machines should run every day to actually be making money for us, and we're not doing that, so we'll get there. Oh, let's jump back into the chat. Y'all may have some other things to talk about too. Hey, Joyce, good morning. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Always appreciate all of y'all jumping in and out. It means a lot. She says, I'm working on a third color wash quilt and bought a 3.5-inch square ruler to cut the squares, but find it harder to use rather than a larger ruler. I get that. Says, thank you for the advice. I see a lot on YouTube using Brother. Yeah, I do love Brother. The quilt behind me is a Villa Rosa pattern, and it is sparkle and stripes. It goes together really well. You do to do the center star and to get the blocks assembled does take a little patience, a little thought about how you throw that together. Interesting enough, Villa Rosa does an absolute amazing job describing how to sew that together. And if you just trust what you're reading and do it, it's amazing. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, that actually worked. So just trust the directions, I would tell you, because it is amazing. If you were asking about this one is called Sewing Mends the Soul. It is a panel that came out, I think, January of this year, and I believe it's Bernitex is the one that had this. They actually have the companion fabrics to go with it. So I ended up buying the panel itself, and then I bought the one companion to go with it because I'm a gnome freak. So me and Danielle can never get enough gnomes. She has miniature and all different size gnomes all over her studio, which I'm a little jealous of. But I ended up doing just the big gnome with this. So I have the same gnomes. I just have all mine in one place where she actually has all the gnome dolls, which is really cool. But this was my first purchase in 2026, and I say that because I had decided I was not going to buy and get sucked into a lot of different craziness, and I was trying to be really, really good. And then one of my retreaters said, hey, saw this pop in my email feed today and thought about you because I know how much you like gnomes and wanted to make sure you didn't miss it. Well, to be honest, John had completely missed it because I've unsubscribed from Fat Quarter Shop. I've unsubscribed from Missouri Star Quilt. in their daily deals and that. I haven't unsubscribed. I still get them. I just have them automatically filter into a folder. So if I feel like I have money in my pocket burning a hole, I can go look. Russ is really bad. Every now and then he'll send me an email and say, "Do you know the daily deal at Missouri Star is Tula Pink, and it's like half off." So I have enough friends that encourage my bad behavior that I don't have to even look at the daily deals because everybody else is helping me out. So, all right, I think I consider white red. So if I do that, that means this one goes this way. The cool thing is now I just have to make sure once I get the rows sewed together correctly, now I just have to make sure I get the right rows matched up. This pattern goes together really quick. This is Tibet, and I do like this pattern. I had actually made this quilt, obviously not patriotic colors. So guys, what's on the schedule for you today? What are you all doing? Do you have picnics planned? Do you plan to get together? We actually did pulled pork barbecue and mac and cheese and all that at the retreat our last day. So we are just taking it easy. So we're not having anyone over or doing any of that craziness, nor did anyone invite us over. So that's fine too. We probably need to catch up to get ready to go to work this week. I still have totes sitting all over the kitchen and family room that need to be unpacked. But you know what? Nothing in there is going to go stale. So they'll probably just sit there for a while until we're ready to get back to that. But curious what you all are doing after the live today, and we appreciate that you got up and decided to give us part of your day. It means a lot. Fun facts. Let's do another fun fact. Some historians estimate that more than 25 different towns claim that they were the official birthplace of Memorial Day. How interesting is that? Everybody wants to be recognized as the ones that started all this. So funny. Another fun fact is in 2000, the US government established the National Moment of Remembrance. That's when Americans are encouraged to pause for 1 minute at 3 p.m. local time on Memorial Day. I did not know that. I did ask Kit to give me some fun facts that we could talk about today, and it's always interesting the things that you find, right? Jackie says, I have the gnome panel to make for my daughter for Christmas. I loved it. And interesting enough, I wasn't thrilled when I got it because it's all in the creams versus the white. So I would have preferred it in the white. But when I got it and started trying to match up the colors, I knew I wanted to make it bordered to be bigger because I didn't think it needed a lot of other things to go with it, right? I thought it had enough color there. So I ended up doing a chocolate brown to match the sewing men's, and I just felt like, especially for a guy, I needed to bring out the brown. But I love pinks and browns together, so I had actually the perfect pink fabric in my stash that I thought brought out the hat and all the colors in the hat. So I grabbed that and then, of course, I used the companion fabric as my border, biggest border, and then I matched the teal with her top, right, with the shirt. And then I used a rainbow almost for a border. But I just really liked, I wanted the bigger size. I really liked the way it turned out. And then when I got it done, I was like, wow, cream was like, for those colors and all that, like the cream was perfect. And actually, that cream color almost matches my wall color in the studio. So ended up, I was probably happier that it wasn't white, that it was that cream color. But, it's just funny how you have something in your mind and it's like, yeah, creams don't work. Why are they going to cream versus just white? But ended up being very, very happy with that. Scrappy Crafter says she's working on paper piece 200 blocks. Wow. And I've bought more paper piecing work and blocks and all that. And have I started any of the paper piecing I want to do? No, but we'll get there. Brian says it's rainy here, so I'm not going anywhere. I plan on having a margarita and pretending that I am somewhere. Amen, brother. I understand. We had margaritas the other night at the retreat. They seem to have gone over very well. Probably won't do margaritas in New Year's Eve just because, it's not margarita weather, right? But it does help set our expectations for the day, right? Joyce says she's working on a Teresa Louise friendship block quilt. I love Teresa Louise. I get her emails, every day or once a week or whenever they come in. She's got some great patterns, and I love watching her. Again, she's got that calmness about her. So I always enjoy when she pops up. Jackie says, I have a donation pickup tomorrow. I can't figure out why I packed and moved some of the stuff, downsized some of my dad's books again. I tell you what, I feel bad for my daughter because I keep thinking about the volume and stuff I have in this house. So I went through a divorce after 30 years. Things changed. My life changed completely after that. We split assets pretty much 50-50, and Lord knows I had tons of stuff at that point. Moved into a small two-bedroom duplex. When they moved me to Phoenix, they were shocked because literally I lived in about a 900 square foot two-bedroom duplex. They were amazed. They came in and estimated what it would take to pack and move me. When they came to do the packing and all that to load the truck, I literally loaded almost a half of a semi because I had a lot more stuff than they realized. That was long before I got into quilting. Got moved here, rented a 3-bedroom brand new home from a builder that had overbuilt. So he was looking to rent a couple of properties. Ended up moving into that property for 2 years is the only way I would move into it. So they rented it to me for 2 years. Bought all kinds of new IKEA furniture, new table and chairs, a bunch of stuff because I just honestly didn't think I had that much. Ended up doing that. And over the 8 years I have been in Arizona, it's amazing the stuff that I've accumulated. I literally have, I think, 19 Christmas trees. Again, I don't put all of them up, but I do have 19 Christmas trees. I have over 40 cookie jars for just Christmas. I have 28, I think, sets of dishes because when we entertain, it depends on my mood and what dish set we use for what. So I have holiday dishes, I have Cinco de Mayo dishes, I have Italian dishes, I have China. Then I have 3 sets, I think, of Christmas dishes. I have Halloween fall dishes. And then we have 5 sets of silverware, right? Because I have silverware, and then I actually have gold. Then I have rose gold. Then I have black, because again, it depends on which dish set I use. And the other day I was like, okay, now I'm thinking about we want to move, build, put together the barn dominium. The real focus is me getting the right studio space to be able to do more things like this. My partner still thinks he deserves some space in the house as well. Interesting enough, I told him the other day, yeah, because he was talking about his TV or something and where does this go? And I said, that's simple. So this much of the house is a bed, 2 bedrooms, kitchen, and a great room basically for us with, I think, a bath, maybe a bath and a half. Then similar copy is one just huge open room with a half bath, and I think he called it a wired room or whatever for our technology and all that kind of stuff. I forgot what he called it, mechanical room. But all that other stuff wide open that would basically match the other piece of the house, but that would be John's design studio. And then we're looking like at a 2.5 car garage that would run the length of it. So technically, you could put 4 cars in it if you just lined them up. But he goes, I said, so that's easy. Your TV's going out in the garage right on the other side of the design studio wall. And he laughed. He goes, I'm good with that. That's fine. I can make that happen. My 3D printers will be there, my laser printer or cutter and all that engraver. And I can sit and play my games and do. But of course, see, again, how lucky am I to have someone who's got that type of personality? And Mona's going, be nice to Carl. Don't pick on Carl. You're lucky you have Carl. Carl puts up with a lot. Yes, we all know that. All right. See what else is going on. Brian said, oh, already did Brian. Already did that. Donation picked up. Donna says, hey, Donna, welcome in. Must I have heat exhaustion? I could have sworn there was a blue chain looking block behind John. Oh, there is. I switched cameras on you. Sorry. So, yes, the blue chain is the Bob die. Let me switch over. So that is the one block that I got done at Quilt Retreat this week. And it is actually a bob die. So if you don't know what a bob die is, it is from AccuQuilt. It's called Block on Board. And so the intent is when you buy a bob die that everything is on that die. So all the pieces to make that you can cut on one die from AccuQuilt. I only got the one done. I love that pattern. That pattern, for some reason, just didn't register in my mind. So I struggled with it. It wasn't a good pattern for me to work on at a quilt retreat and be worried about are others engaged or others getting what they need, making sure lunch and breakfast, all that stuff. And so I ripped this apart, I think 6 times before I finally got it right. And I decided, you know what? I'm not working on that again. I'll do that once I'm home, when it's a nice weekend. If I lived back in Virginia and that would be my snowy, snowed in project day where I could just sit and know, like, other than the mailman, no one's going to come to the house because the roads are bad. But that is that one. So if you were asking about that one, that's the other one. All right, let's switch back over. What else? Janet goes, I will be in my happy place working on a quilt top today. That is awesome. Oh, see, Mama Jan, again, right? See, I have plenty of encouragers, right? Says to help you out, Bob's long wall of fabric is $6 a yard, just trying to help you. Hugs. And I probably should run up there today just to see. We may run up there because I didn't make lunch, so maybe we'll run up and do that today. Yeah, it's so interesting enough, two of my retreaters came into Sun City West to go to Bob's yesterday and both text me and said, hey, do you know they've got fabric $6 a yard? So Bob's does run some good specials this time of year because most of our snowbirds are gone. So they do run some good specials this time of year because of that. The problem is John just ordered 5 bolts of fabric. So I don't know. Jackie says, I'm going to pack it with flannel for her. She works from home and her office space is chilly at night. Now, that makes sense. I have not done anything. Typically, I do 108s for all of my backings. I've never used Minky. Don't have anything against Minky. I just have not used it. Would like to use and do some things with Minky. In fact, I'd love to make a Tula Pink sweatshirt out of it like Adam did for Adam Sews. So I would definitely like to do that sometime. I need to find someone that could help me do apparel. Erica over at Sewing Asylum here in town is the one that helped teach me originally some of the quilting techniques in that. She does apparel sewing, so I've thought about trying to get into one of her classes so she could help me make a Minky sweatshirt. I think would be really cool. I've not used flannel. I do have a ton of flannel, but I've never backed with flannel either. And I would really like to make a rag quilt sometime, but I have not done that. I saved probably 10 different videos on how to do a rag quilt, but I've never made one. But I think my daughter would love a rag quilt, especially in Virginia on the days when it actually is really cold there. But again, I haven't done that. And then there's one from, I think, a lady in Australia, I think is where she was from, who does one. Kind of reminds me of a rag quilt, but it wasn't a rag quilt, and it was done with blue jeans. It was a denim quilt. Man, I want to call it a lasagna quilt or a ravioli quilt. I can't remember. I have the video saved because she actually sells on her Etsy store a tool that you should use to make it. And actually, when I looked to buy the tool, they were out. And I never went back to see if they ever came in or whatever, because again, I probably don't, I need one more tool, notion, like I need more fabric, but yet I'll probably end up at Bob's today at $6 a yard. I can't help it. Really just depends on whether or not my partner wants to go out again today. If he says no, then we will probably stay home and John will miss his $6 bargain unless it's on next weekend. And by then it will be all picked over and gone, so John won't have to worry about going. What else? Ingrid says, I'm working on the Art East Peter Pan quilt today. I so wanted that. I looked and looked and looked at getting that. The only thing that scares me with the Art East is he does so much small pieces and almost to me like fussy cutting. And I'm just not into the cutting is the problem. If I wish John would put together a AccuQuilt die for one of his, come up with a pattern on some of those things because I loved now the Peter Pan I liked was the nighttime. I didn't like the daytime. I liked the dark one. But I really, really wanted that, and I ended up just saying, no, I can't do that. I knew I wouldn't be happy. Happy Souls Love is here. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for joining. I don't know, I don't remember seeing you before. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. If I've just overlooked or don't remember, that's okay. Sorry, don't mean to. But I appreciate you being here today. She says, I'm doing dishes. Janet says, I'm going to jump onto the Siberian Winds virtual retreat for a little while. Be good, Janet. Thanks for being here. Kim says, I'm finishing the Banner Day runner. Then I hope to piece the rest of the wedding quilt blocks and get ready for the work week. I know. That's the problem. All of us have got to go back to work. How crazy is that, right? Thanks, Scrappy Crafter, if you're still around. Thanks for being here today. Where is Bob's? Bob's is in Sun City West, out in the Surprise area of what I consider North Phoenix. When you come out of North Phoenix, come out of Glendale through Peoria and that, you get over to Sun City. If you just continue like on down Bell Road, the next 55 plus community is called Sun City West. And in what they consider their downtown area is Bob's Variety. It's Bob's Variety store. So to me, it's the old five and dime, and they have attached to it what they call Quilts Plus, and that is a huge, not huge, but a nice size quilting store in that. So the nice thing is, if you're retired in this community and that, and even if you only have a golf cart, we have a couple of groceries, a couple of restaurants, all of that. You don't have to leave this community and get out on the big roads. Ours are bad enough anymore. But Bob's Variety is here. And I love Bob's Variety because they have 50-cent and $1 greeting cards. They have their own little post office in there, so you don't have to go to the big post office in Sun City West. Just a lot of things, but they always have some nice fabric selections in that. See, Mona says Bob's is great. See, Janet, that's why we're friends, right? She says you can never have enough notions. Right, quilts are easy, especially with the AccuQuilt dies. Yeah, I just need to do one. I really think they would be fun to do. I want to do a puffer quilt. I have yet to do a puffer quilt. I mean, yeah, and again, guys, next month will be my 3rd anniversary in YouTube. So I have only been doing this about 3.5 years because I started the YouTube channel about 6 months after I got into sewing. because I wanted people to be able to see how crazy bad you can be and still enjoy doing a craft like this. All right, let's jump over. I have two more giveaways. This one, if you're a channel regular, you've seen it, and I think this is the last one that I have, is the 12 quilts of Christmas. I really liked these when they came out in 24. Bought a ton of them. I think I bought like 12 or 15 of these to do as giveaways. And we have certainly given those away. I think this is my last one to give away. But I do like this because it does come with several quilt patterns. I did do the wreathed quilt, and that takes a lot. It makes a big, huge wall hanging. Russ last year did the poinsettia. I have yet to do the gnome or the gnomey or the Jerome. I keep saying I'm going to do that. I like the color mittens. But anyways, you get all 12 Christmas patterns. And so it's giving you a jump start into the holidays. And obviously you can use some different colors and do some different things. So let's jump over to Nightbot. We can go here, here, next, next. All right, and what do we want to call this one? Sorry, I gotta wait for my keyboard to wake up again. What do we want to call this? Yeah, we'll just call it VRD, right? So if you would like to win this set of quilt patterns from Villa Rosa, just type in exclamation point VRD, Villa Rosa Designs, exclamation point VRD. We will give those away today, and then I have one final drawing right at the top of the hour for today. What is that? VRD. 12 Christmas. Yeah, cool. All right. What else is going on while you're all doing that? Where is Bob's? We did that. Talked about right quit. You never have enough. Yeah, if you've not been to Bob's, Bob's runs some really cool specials in that. I like Bob's. It works out for the quilt retreat, right? Because there's not a lot of quilting stores typically open on Sunday. Bob's is open on Sunday because it's a variety store. We also have Sun Valley Quilts, so we're lucky. Sun Valley Quilts is over in Sun City. They're open on Sunday afternoon. They don't open till noon, whereas Bob's, because it's a variety store, opens at 9 a.m. Plus, it's 5 minutes from my house, so I literally can run down to Bob's. I do that all the time, right? If I need a piece of Kona or something, I end up running down to Bob's and doing that. And then who else? So Bob's is open. Sun Valley is, oh, and 35th. So their main store in Northern was open. So I know several went down, stopped there after the retreat because they wanted to see Ray, because Ray works on Sunday. And so they were able to stop in and see Ray again. So Ray did an amazing job. I have no idea. We're talking about what is the format going to be for our summer kickoff retreat in May of 27. We really like some of the formats that we're establishing. It's nice because we appreciate some of the folks that reach back out and say, hey, have you thought about this or have you looked at that? And it's fun that you all are sharing ideas and thoughts about things that we can do for those retreats. All right, so 12 Christmas quilt designs. Right? You almost have time that you could do two a month and get it done, get all 12 done by December. So then you could have the 12 days of Christmas and show us the 12 quilts of Christmas that you got done. But we'll see how that works out. All right, let's select the winner. So who is our winner for the 12 Christmas quilts? That would be K Money, K Money Quilting. How awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for playing. And if you will, send me your address at johnjohn at guyscraft2.com. We will get those out and into the mail for you this week. It will probably be, guys, Honestly, I've got lots to do after the live today, and now if I add Bob's trip to Bob's on top of it, I may very well not get these shipped out till the weekend because I actually have several Etsy orders that came in over the past couple of days. So I need to get those out too. So we'll have to see. All right, what else is going on? Janet says, I've taken a few classes where he's always fun class. He is. It's just so funny. He doesn't strike you as having that dynamic personality, or not, at least in my mind, because he does tend to be a little reserved, I think. Not in dressing, right? Because I mean, he loves bright colors and all of that. But he's got such a fun personality. His teaching style is just fun and just very engaging. So we got lots of great feedback from him, and I really appreciated that. Um, Oh, Joyce said, so yeah, is going to Missouri to do a liquidation sale for a quilt shop that's closing. That's always so sad. I mean, some of them close for retirement reasons, some close for economic reasons, different things, but it's sad when you see some of these quilt shops closing. And again, I am so spoiled, I forget about it. It's amazing to me how we ship fabrics all over the country for folks, and I'm like, wow, either they just like shopping online, or maybe I had a fabric that no one else has had, or they're already sold out, or maybe they just don't have a local resource. And I think, how crazy is that? Because I'm so spoiled by how many we have. K Money says, what's your Etsy shop? My Etsy shop is Pride Proud Designs, and it is down in the information for today's live, and there's links to it all over the channel. Pride Proud Designs started, and I'm working on a video to talk about the business names and how we got there. But we originally started in 2000 making door wreaths. And so making wooden wreaths, door wreaths, I used my Cricut, a lot of different things. We used to ship a lot of wreaths, not so much anymore. I still have some for sale, but not, I just don't focus on those as much anymore because I'm so busy doing the quilting. But it started with Pride, obviously for gay pride. Proud because of the military connection that I've had. My family's very military. We've had a lot of Navy in the family, some Army, some Marines, and obviously my son is in the Air Force. So proud comes from the patriotism around just the USA, right, and who we are. So Pride Proud is how that name came about, with designs, obviously, because at one point we were selling the wreaths, quite a few. We used to ship out, and talk about shipping wreaths and expensive, just crazy, but we used to ship quite a bit of wreaths. We actually had a presence on Amazon for a while. And then we were shipping floral arrangements, and I still have customers every so often that'll email me and say, if I kind of describe what I want, can you make a arrangement for me and send me a picture? And most of them are really um, great about doing that. And so we can see. Mama Chan says, I'd like to see y'all for lunch if you like, and then we go to Bob's. I will have to ask my partner and see what he says. He was going to the garden when I started all of this morning, so I have to see what he says, what he has planned for today, because I do know someone still needs to do his laundry for work this week. So I got all the laundry done amongst everything else getting home yesterday. I had to get all our laundry done for the week, but I always do our laundry one day and then I do his the next day. So yes, I do all the laundry in the house. So just so you all know, I do return his all the things that he does for me too. Right. Oh, and Janet says, I just love Ray. He is, it's almost hard to describe who he is and kind of his personality in that. But like I said, I can't wait. I do need to email him because he did gift us one of his new patterns and all that. Again, because he's just such a super guy. And so we had a lot of fun making that. I did not make that pattern because at that point I was like, I'm just tapping out. I'm not sewing well, and I just have too much going on. So it was kind of crazy. All right, let me drop. So email should be scrolling across the screen, but it is John, John, at guyscraft2. So hopefully it just popped up in the chat for you. Yeah, so John, John, at guyscraft2.com, just so you know. And then if you are interested in just perusing the store, um, there is actually the Pride Proud store. Who else? Hey, Linda, welcome in. Hi from New Hampshire. We've had several Northeasterners today, so that's been awesome. Always good to see you. Pat says, have you seen the new Villa Rosa notebooks in person? I have not. So I definitely would like to see those. Interesting. So we did play left, right, center at the quilting retreat. We did give 18, right? 6 times 3, 18 new patterns away, and a lot of those were new patterns from this year. Because again, I try to buy some of the newer patterns that I like. I buy 8 or 10 of those at a time, so we'll have them to give away each week on the show. And again, I have no idea if Villa Rosa even knows I do that, nor if they care, because we're not sponsored. You know, guys, I buy the patterns that I give away. The things we're giving away today, John bought and paid for, or maybe John and Carl, I should say, bought and paid for these. So it's about us wanting to kind of contribute and give back, right? What else? Or we don't. Oh, but I would love to see that. So I hope to meet them. I did not really get to see them at QuiltCon. I'd hoped to spend a little time with them and talking with them at QuiltCon, like I had done Fran and Donna and that. Their booth was absolutely um, very small for what they had, and I think they had 2 booths or maybe 4 booths, but it was absolutely packed with stuff, but packed with people. I mean, they were just crazy busy. Which is great. You know, that's they need to pay for that trip and being here, and people wanted to see them. I had really hoped to get to spend a little time with some of the folks from Villa Rosa and talk to them about some things. Uh, that didn't happen that time. May try to reach out to them prior to QuiltCon in 28 and see if we can't make that happen. But just so much going on. So, but hopefully we can see them at Road to California. And I noticed Sally, I don't think joined today. So Sally's my buddy up there. So maybe we'll get to spend some time with her and see how she's got things going. Sorry, guys, it is time for my Mountain Dew Zero. So I'm so dry. I don't feel like I hydrated probably enough during the retreat like I should have, but that's okay. We're doing it today. Bummed that I did not cut my material correctly for the banner day, so I did not get to do that table runner with you all. I will get that done in put together, probably not before the live on Thursday. If you are new to the channel or not familiar with the schedule and what's going on, we typically do holiday quilting bees on national holidays. The next one would be July 4th. I have to figure out how that's going to work because we're not going to be here. We're actually going to be traveling down in the Tucson, Benson, uh, Bisbee, Tombstone area. So I would have to do it probably from our hotel and figure that out. I'm not sure if I can do the whole 3 hours based on the schedule and things that he would like for us to accomplish while we're down there. So we'll just figure it out. I definitely would like to still have the space, but we just have to figure out how we make that work. So the next holiday quilting bee would be on July 4th. My regular channel day is Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Arizona time, and that's when we get together and typically do a lot of this chatting. Sometimes John actually gets to turn his machine on and sew, but not always. I'm not as good at multitasking that way, but I do try. So that's always fun. So Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m. And then on Thursday evenings at 6:30 Arizona time. We do cutting up and piecing out, and that is rotating each week. This week, John needs to still work and get the pieces cut and put together, but I believe, see again, every flat surface is just stacked. So give me a second so I can get the schedule. Cutting up and piecing out this week would be May 28th. That is the Sew and Tell Sew Along that we are doing by Elizabeth Hartman. So if you're not familiar, yeah, let me grab it. I am working on Sew and Tell by Elizabeth Hartman. That is this crazy pattern that has the bunny, the bear, and the fox showing off their quilts. I absolutely fell in love with this. What I had no intention of doing is buying this because I knew it was going to be a lot more cutting and piecing than I've typically done. And lo and behold, it showed up one day. And I was like, well, I guess at some point I had decided I would do this. I knew looking at this, I was going to be very overwhelmed. And because I'm still new enough to quilting, I like to get projects done, completed, moved on. That's one of the reasons I like Ray's new pattern. It goes together so quick. This is not going to go together quick for me. I ended up deciding I would do this as a sew along. So if you've got the pattern and you want to work on it together, that's great. I'm doing it as a block of the month and literally a block of the month. I've got the first block done and I did not even put the characters on it yet. So just literally the first block. This time around, we'll be working on the second block. And the second block is, which one did I do? So we did the fox blocks. So we did, because I'm following straight in the book. So I did Big Star Quilt is the first one I did, and that's block A. Why does it look different on here? So I did block, oh, this one. Sorry, guys, I couldn't find it. So this is the first one that I did. It actually, she's got great instructions, and as I followed through and did it, I got it done pretty easily. I didn't, I think, get it all done on air that day, but I was surprised how quickly it went together. This is the block that we'll be doing this time around. And so this is block 2 for me. And this is what I would consider, again, I'm doing this more as a block of the month because this takes a lot of patience, time, thought, and just not a space that I easily get to. And I knew if I kind of ate this elephant one bite at a time, I could get it done. All that to say, Thursday this week, we will be doing block 2 of this. I know Pat at some point wanted to work on it too. I don't know if she's still doing it, but or if she's had the opportunity to get her started. But I just fell in love with this, and I thought, you know what? I can do this, and I have the skills to do it. I just need to not make it such a big project. And that's the problem, because this is something, maybe if I was retired, I would spend 2 weeks and just focus on it and just work on it day and night because uh, I just don't know. It's just my personality said, let's make it a block of the month, and that's what I did. So that's what's coming up this on in the last Thursday of May. How crazy is that? But we meet every Thursday night, typically at 6:30 p.m. But some of my regulars will tell you John was late this past Thursday because he was at the retreat and he was having a margarita and enjoying being with the retreaters. And Kimberly actually came in and said, hey, you know, you have folks waiting on your live and they want to know what happened. So I literally was like 11 minutes late. So if you go back and watch that recording, that one does not show John in the best fashion. I mean, literally, I started, didn't even use my intro or nothing, just to jump on and say, guys, I am so embarrassed. It was just crazy, but I got there. Joyce says, I love that pattern. I do too. I mean, I just fell in love with it. Ingrid says she just bought it recently too. I ended up buying the kit, and the kit was not cheap, guys. This was probably $300. May have been more, may have been a little less, but it was around $300 because it's a ton of fabric. but I was glad I bought it as a kit because I wouldn't want, personally, I wouldn't want to have to go and try to get all of this fabric. The nice thing is if you're doing it and you want to spend the 30 bucks or whatever to get the pattern, then if you decided to do it as a block of the month, I think it would make it easier we spent, I bet, 45 minutes sorting the fabrics out because they came in one big stack, but they didn't necessarily tell you this fabric does this. Um, on the fabric. So we had to figure out and try to color match it and make it work. But we got it there. Brian says, I have her mermaid pattern. If I can get my act together and cut the fabric, maybe I would do that with you. That would be awesome, right? We don't always have to do exactly the same pattern, but the fact that we're working through an Elizabeth Hartman together would be cool. I did buy her unicorn pattern because Russ's sister had put that in his advent box this year. And my granddaughter loves unicorns. I like unicorns. And then my partner goes, well, instead of doing all the different color unicorns and that, wouldn't it be cool to do do them themed and do a Valentine one, a St. Patrick's one, an Easter one? I was like, oh my gosh, guy, you're just, see, he has some good ideas too. But again, it's like, oh my God, there's another project to work on. So I bought the pattern. That's as far as it got. But we'll see how we get there with that. Who else? Joyce's patterns on my list. Hey, Becky, you're never late. After John being 11 minutes late to his own live the other day, I can never say anything. Joyce says it's a long list. They are. I tell you what, I have a 5-drawer filing cabinet with patterns. Happily, I can say there is room in the cabinet to continue to add to them. So it's not like the cabinet's so packed that it's embarrassing to try to add one. But guys, I tell you, it's just crazy. All right. Pat says, I just want to get up the stairs to get the fabric to work on it. Maybe in the future I will catch up to you. Girlfriend, you're fine. Just enjoy being with us. We appreciate you are healing, recovering, and that you haven't forgotten about us, that you still join us and that you're still here doing things. Russ says, Melissa says, I have the cats in pajamas cut out and ready to sew. Awesome. Ingrid says, oh, I love the unicorn pattern too, right? I mean, there's just so many out there. It's just crazy. Oh, Soap and Craft Maker in Virginia says, hello from Virginia. Hello from Arizona. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. What part of Virginia? I lived in Christiansburg, Blacksburg for a while, lived in Lynchburg for a while. Feel like I lived and worked all over the state. Miss Virginia. It's funny growing up in Kentucky. You would think I'm an old Kentucky boy, but um, I had a lot of love and passion for Virginia. I lived there 15, 18 years and felt a lot. Virginia felt very home to me. And it's funny to think back and say I'm from Kentucky because I really feel more connected to Virginia. There was just something about Virginia. I'll never leave Arizona. I am concrete blocked in Arizona. I love Arizona with a passion. But at the same time, there was just something special about Virginia. So thanks for being here, Soap Maker. We appreciate that. All right, it is time. We are almost top of the hour, guys. I have been rattling on 3 hours, but you all have been so patient to be here. So thanks for being with me. Soap and Craft Maker says move from Texas to the Fredericksburg. Oh, that's awesome. My niece, who's really like my sister, because my sister's not a sister. My niece and I are very close though, and she lives in Fredericksburg. So she comes out and sees us a couple of times a year. So I love the Fredericksburg area. My favorite place pre-COVID, and I don't even know if it's there anymore, is you all used to have a wine place in downtown Fredericksburg, which has just the cutest little downtown area. But there was a wine bar downtown, and you go get your wine glass, and for you put $25 or whatever on a card, and you can go over and get a sip or an ounce or 2 ounces, whatever. It was all computerized of all the different wines to try in that, but some of them were like $50 bottle, bottles of wine, but it was like $2 for a taste. But then they had $100 or $500 bottle of wine, and it was like $5 for just a taste. But it was such a cool experience. So cool. So I don't even know if that's still there anymore. I haven't visited my niece. She comes to see me with her boyfriend husband, but I have not been back there really for a while because when I go back, my grandkids are down in the Lynchburg area, so I tend to spend my time down there. All right, final giveaway today is exclamation point panel. This is a panel that I had bought a while back. And it used to be the one that hung behind me on my lives, and so many folks liked it. And I was at the store the other day, and they still had some, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get this. So this says quilt stitch pin sew button. What's the bottom say? Threads and fabric. And so I happened to be standing in line waiting for her to cut fabric for me. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give one of these away as the final prize for my holiday quilting bee. So exclamation point panel gets you in that. This is crazy wild. It's still hanging. I should have grabbed it. It's still hanging on the other side of the room for me. So I can see it, but you all can't see it. And I don't even think I have a camera view of it. But I just thought, how cool is that? This one, our local stores, I don't remember ever seeing this one, the gnome one in our stores. And I don't remember seeing this, but in one store. And actually, this came from Bob's. Bob's is the one that had this panel. And I really kind of liked it because for me, it kind of had that 70s vibe I thought was kind of cool. So if you like a little bit of the wild and crazy, then that might be a fun panel for you to have in your sewing studio. So exclamation point panel, PANEL, will get you registered for that. And we will give that away as gosh, guys, I'm over 3 hours. Sorry about that. I got to talking, lost track of time, and just forgot. Becky says cute panel. K Money says looks like Bright. I don't even know what the name of the panel is. Sure, it's in the selvage, right? It's DesireeDesigns.com. It came out in 24 actually, and just says for QT fabrics, but it doesn't actually have a name on it. All right, guys, let's do the final giveaway. Let's see who Nightbot selects as our winner. And that would be Tracy Middlebrook. So you are the winner. Congratulations. You won the panel. If you will send me an email to john@guyscraft2, we will get that in the mail and get that out to you probably next weekend. So congratulations to you. So guys, I so appreciate that you all gave me 3 hours of your holiday. I hope that you all have an amazing start to your week. I hope that you have some other things going on today. I'm not sure what other content creators have things going on. I know a lot already have a presence on Monday as a regular, right? So we only do this on the national holidays. So I will be back on Thursday evening at 6:30. If you want to join me, we will be doing the show and tell by Elizabeth Hartman will be our focus this week. And then I'm live every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Arizona time. So I hope things are going great for you. I appreciate you being here this morning. And as always, until next time, happy crafting.